But if I'm moving on for good. At least my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe it, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to.
climb at first, but I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst.
You'll still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. We are at the grand finals here at Necc Valorant, where the best of the best are now ready to take on each other in a battle to find out who will be our grand champion. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me on the desk is Zobi. And Zobi, the two teams that I've been talking about, the two teams that we've been hyping up, right, is none other than Humber Esports going up against the Waterloo Warriors Black.
Yes, Division 3 Grand Finals here. And honestly, two teams that I don't think many expected to be in this position. And that's the joy of it being a conclusion of another semester. Is we've seen these teams, we've seen the work that they've put in to get here. The upsets, the grind, it is all culminating here between Humber Esports and Warriors Black. But they have such differing stories, Sam, don't they, right? Humber Esports, it's like a switch was flipped versus Warriors. It's been this kind of consistent battle, this grind, so many map threes on their journey. It's surprising to say the least.
It is surprising, and you look back at the regular season, how these two teams have been playing, right? Both 4 and 3. They've had their ups, they've had their downs, and they've had a very surprising playoffs run where, right, we looked at it and we were like, okay, these two teams, they got here. They've created the upset story, the underdog story to make it into this spot. And now what makes it interesting, Zobi, is that we're in a best of 5, right? Now, looking at the map selection, looking at the map pool, you might see a couple of new things are in here, right? 2 new maps specifically.
No, absolutely. And that is Lotus and the long-awaited Fracture returning here. And that's what makes it so interesting for these two teams is they have not played an any CC match in about 2 weeks. That's when they punched their tickets from those semifinals into the grand finals. And that was the old map pool, right? And so both of these teams actually opting to ban at different maps than those return ones they have not played in official says a lot. And for me, it was a representation of, I think, for both of them, maps that they don't have equivalent reps on to their opposition or maps that they aren't the strongest in. For example, for Warriors, they lost on Bind in the group stage, they banned Bind. Versus on the side of Humber, yeah, they have one win on it recency, but again, I think the number of sheer reps Warriors have on that map, and I think the successes that they were able to find in the group stage just outweigh any risk, we'll call it.
Right. And that's, again, what makes these best of 5 so exciting is that, yeah, there's a lot more risk. There's a lot more potential to take on these fights. But it's map number 1 of Breeze and Humber. I was wondering if they were going to bring out this composition again. They did this. Humber Esports compositional agent select is so intense, right? It is in your face. It is fast. It is go, go, go. Warriors Black, though, kind of the similar story here. Both of these teams opting for the double controller. Little bit of the differences between the two, though, right? Clove instead of an Astra.
No, absolutely. And I think the Clove, it just allows you to battle a little bit stronger, and this is going to be a more puggier team. They tried going with the normal compositions, guys. I'll let you know. Again, they were going through the full stop, like, okay, what composition works for us? And then it's like Yoro got nerfed after they figured out what they wanted to do. They said, we're throwing everything out the window. We're playing what we want. We're playing very ranked-esque. And on the flip side, Warriors Black, I think this works really well for them. But the two players I'm going to be keeping an eye on in for this squad as well, to me, is going to be Rage for the side of Humber Esports, and it's going to be Turtle for the side of Warriors Black, because they're coming back in for this grand finals. Whether it's a sub position, who knows, but they are back after not playing since about halfway through the group stage, so looking towards them to get that synergy back with these squads.
Well, it's the first map of the NECC Valorant Grand Finals, Warriors Black versus Humber Esports. And Humber is giving us a start on the attack, already occupying so much space in mid, but Rage missing out on the 1v1 against Vermeil. Already losing out on that one. Down a player, and Marble's going to continue that train rolling with another pickoff onto Humble. And it's just all falling apart for Humber here. Two picks coming up through main may just put things back into the favor of this squad, but at Neon, always a thorn in the side. Down to 10 HP. Wordle. Not very many places to work around with right now. And even worse, has to go and pick up the spike. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, whip out the fidget spinner. Try your best, whatever you can do. Pull back around. 1v3. 10 HP, unenviable odds, I think, even for the most seasoned of Valorant players. And you have one duelist on each side occupying this main space. Marble not missing a single beat. Fertile goes down. Warriors Black takes the first pistol.
There we go. Whether it's, you know, studies into what that pistol is going to look like for Humber Esports or Dumb Luck, again, stack on B, they're able to, again, get spiked down pretty effectively, but that's also where we're going to be looking towards Humber in these subsequent rounds. It's like, okay, this is obviously, even with Arena, a very contact-heavy, lurk-heavy style composition, especially with that Clove. Again, you don't get those smokes back as often as the Asher has them pretty readily with the extra addition of the stars, so those commitments are going to be that much more taxing. So, speaking of commitments, Marble, 4 players coming at you fast through mid-door, and I mean, no shields, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, no harm, no foul, and then you're gonna stand your ground with the Sheriff and take on your mirror matchup with Rage. Yeah, again, right, there's just so much being thrown at you. Very thin odds and very thin maneuvers as Warrior Blacks flawlessly walks through.
There we go. I do feel like for both of these teams, I do think the duelist performance is going to be a good staple for how these squads measure up. Yeah, sometimes you see, again, the support players being there, being the ones that can make a difference, but I have noticed, again, when these teams are winning, it's when Marble and Arcolem are doing really well, or when it's Rage and Wordle especially. You'll see them also on the Chamber a little bit later, and he definitely can make a difference even if he's not on the arena, but all in all, we'll see if that continues here with guns now in Humber's hands.
Yeah, Arcombe hit by the drone dart, forced to disengage. Right, but it's still Humber Esports, so nervous. Webb ready to go with the recon dart the second they walk through. Trying to make sure to destroy that relatively quickly, but yeah, no, they're just taking their dear sweet time, whatever utility they possibly can, and
like it.
Hope for a mistake on the backs of Warriors, the Warriors Black squad.
You don't want to run into a stack here, and we mentioned again how that's what we're on a pistol. They contacted in too heavily instead of picking them off slowly, methodically, and that kill should, I think, expedite the rotation back towards B, but they thought it was enough to draw rotations off, and boy, oh boy, were they wrong. The trades going Webb's way, 2 kills down with the Guardian, and now your players are splintered. Now you don't have a site secured, and now you don't know if that Viper has fully locked down B because the rotates could have come through. The timing missed, and Vermeil could have had the answer all wrapped up in a bow, but they also missed the spawn re-clear timing. It's kind of chaotic for a bonus round.
It really is, right? A 3v3 right now. And Humber Esports is all over the place. Trent eventually going to regroup with the rest of the squad, but they're not really picking up on too much of that information, so there is still a smidgen of time that Warriors Black can use to work around with to rotate back over to the B site, but Vermeil occupying this space in mid just hasn't seen anything. They are going to hear the spike get planted in the final 10 seconds of the round. Now this is where the real action begins.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd see Trin with the late mid lurk, but instead going for the elbow regroup. Should be able to hold down the flank, which is currently unprotected from Vermeil. And the rest just rotating the old-fashioned way towards Arches.
Wow, crazy timing and an even crazier shot from Vermeil. Humber Esports down in the numbers, sees the recon drone coming up through Arches. But as the timer runs slim, Warriors Black has to start picking up the pace here. Kill traded out, Turtle, winning out in that 1v1, and then Vermeil to close things out. Just in the nick of time, Warriors Black takes on Humber Esports and wins the bonus.
Yeah, very, very well placed. Definitely playing that on their own timer. And I will say again, reminder, this is in fact Waterloo Warriors map pick. And again, Humber, they have only played it once before. And while it was a win, again, that was, I think, before even. I mean, that was the 13-10, right, against Conestoga Academy in those semifinals. So a little bit closer of an affair, I would say, than the more dominant stretch of reps that we have from Warriors Black side. They're also in the more stable composition here. But for Humber Esports, you have 2 duelists and a Clove. If you're not getting the gears turning on attack, I do have some fear here. That's where Humber Esports eco round means 5 stack. WQ, see what you can have happen towards the A site.
It's a good recon dart too. Saw so many of them, and Marble bullying out, trying to take advantage with the Outlaw. That Wordle's gonna try and put an end to that as quickly as they can, and some really good pickoffs with the Sheriffs, but few and far between with the rest of them. Now down to your final player, your Clove, Trin. Pushed over to the other side by a brilliantly placed snake bite. Disciplined shots come through, but again, right? It's always the numbers working against Humber, and this final player, Warrior Black, squeezes through in another 4th round.
Absolutely, and again, you can't say the duelists didn't try to entry there, right? They kind of dove in simultaneously, and honestly, Webb's ability to anchor this B site, or sorry, this A site, whether it was the Guardian previously or now with the upgraded Vandal, has been quite effective. Again, that util timing that he's been able to find around the choke. Coma actually was the player that stepped out for Humber so that Rage could be here. So now in the coaching position, or maybe a previous Cub coach subbing in, we don't know. But I tried to, again, get their heads on straight early here in the best of 5, because again, they are running very confident style compositions. So you do have to be kind of disrespecting Warriors Black to a certain degree, and I think we've yet to really see that confident play style. Again, the one time where they were confident was when they thought that maybe the Viper kill over towards B drew all these players off because it was a bonus round, because you do want to gamble those rotations, but that's where we have seen Waterloo Warriors Black really hold their cool.
Right.
They really have not looked shaken by anything so far.
I think some of the other difficulties that we're seeing from Humber, right, is the stack that they have going into A. We saw the fruition of a lurk play from the Reyna going in through elbow on B side, but again, right, that's in your save round. You're not really going to do much against Warriors Black in their buy, and Humber is just leaving so much of the space on Breeze for Warriors Black to just run away with if they need to. And we're starting to see, I think, a little bit more of that adaptation, 2 going in through mid, 2 towards B, and then 1 on A.
Oh
but
no. They've adapted 2. Look at Warriors Black 3, ready to pounce on mid as soon as this wall drops.
Yeah, Arcom's gonna have to be ready. They are. Perfect relay bolt to corral them right into Marble's crosshairs. Couple of clean headshots. Whoa. It's just that intuition moment that you see from these duelists and from these players that have played so much of this game. Webb wins out against Wordle. Puts in a recon bolt to clear out the player that's still stuck in elbow, forcing them out for the fight. Rather, push them back closer into spawn. Even though Ethic may have gotten the one, Arcom is so quick on the trade that, yeah, you left poor Toon now in the unenviable position of being the last one alive on Humber.
Yeah, and that's a difficult position because they're definitely, I think, were the workings where you could generate some sort of pinch between the Viper and Spawn, between those players and elbow, but it's Wordle swinging alone, right? The Viper swinging alone. And like you mentioned, leaving Toon to clean up an entire mess of a 1v3 that he tries and he gets one, but again, the grouping from Warriors Black there from the get-go, that jump play in a mid, to then how they even framed the final seconds of the round there with that trade ability is what set them apart. It's what putting them up 5-0 now. And now, I mean, it feels like the defense just got a little bit harder, Sam. Marble picking up the operator here. That's going back towards mid-door, because I do feel like Humber were able to, I think, speed up through mid-door on that second round pretty heftily, and that's no longer really going to be an option. And now as well, it's on a solo hold towards B. Webb is here, so again, we're seeing different variations as well of this defensive side from Warriors Black.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're still seeing Marble go crazy with whatever weapon they have in their hand. Different flavors all the time. We got Outlaw, Vandals, and now we're getting the Operator. Yeah, it's not good looks here. Archolm has
Nice try.
grand coverage of this elbow play.
Go, go, go.
No, right. Marble's here too. Couldn't leave the glory. Rare missed shot, but yeah, it's gonna send shivers down the spine of Trin. And again, right, you're just regaining all of this space that Humber could have had, and they're still struggling to figure out where they want to go.
Yeah. Again, Warriors Black definitely throwing the disrespect anywhere Humber's going. I do like the late round regroup. Again, this mid-round voice path forward felt like it was missing in that previous round. So here again, you're going to have the Viper wall to lean on. You're going to have, again, Webb not here this time around. So it does feel like Warriors Black is kind of letting them out towards sight, aside from this Archolem contact on bridge. So there should be a plant. There should be a pit too. But I mean, Hunter's Fury could throw a wrench into things.
Spike planted.
Could throw a wrench. Humber Esports, but man,
That
that
works
reach. Yeah, the recon ball just seeing exactly where the Viper is. They're still alive somehow. It doesn't feel like maybe for long. Webb just runs in with a classic. Unstoppable, it feels like right now, Warriors Black. So close for Humber Esports. So close, but not close enough.
It's off of one person too, Trin there. And I mean, when you're staring down now in 06, I maybe would have contemplated the world, the universe where that Clove ultimate could have made a difference, right? You tuck around Pyramid, you maybe isolate them, but all in all, the main mistake of that round was not being ready to shoot that recon bolt. So
Yeah.
that's over that Initiator managing, I think, their timing of that util cycling super well in that regard. I'll also say when your Jet's just contacting finding opening kills, you don't need as much information either, so you can stockpile those resources. And now, I mean, again, you have some ults, the buy, heading back towards B. But look at the A space that Warriors are planning on taking.
Yeah, that's gonna leave the flank right ripe for picking. The smokes are gonna go down. Warriors Black are not gonna find much resistance in that regard, but yeah, they're still gonna have to win out engagements everywhere across the map. Archolm is making so much noise, but it's kind of on purpose to draw the attention of Ethic away and even invest the snake bite into it. Webb stuck in the corner. That's exactly what's happening here. Ramil is gonna try and take this fight. World gets the one. This misses back over towards Pillar, towards safety. Marble, right? Always being that annoyance there. Vermeil walking through the smoke confidently. Marble. 3 knives available. 1 for each player from Humber. That's all they need right now, but yeah, whiff here and there. Wordle gets a 3K. Humber Esports finally gets their 1.
And it's off of that Empress. Again, these duelists, we said it, have to be locked in. Confident style composition. Again, Arena pick that needs to be defended. 7 and 6, looking slick in that regard. But I'm not letting them get out of the woods just yet, right? You still have 4 out of 5 ultimates on that Warriors Black side. Like you mentioned, they did exhaust the Bladestorm with no conversion there for Marble. But Warriors Black just flipped the page. Looking, it feels like, for another way to run interference here. They're like, okay, they're probably gonna go B, it just worked. They're gonna do it again. So let's get up in their faces. Let's go through elbow.
3 players up through elbow. And then you leave behind Viper to help protect this space. Yeah, swing back around, but not gonna expect how close Marble was to the corner. Drain investing the ultimate right back around as Archolm tries to get in further towards the fight, but boy, it's just a little bit difficult. And you have Ethic is holding down the flank there. Marble, though, working up towards Window. It makes a play to the spike so scary and so contentious.
Last player standing.
Yeah, but then they try to come back in for another peek. Ethic gets a headshot there. A 1v2 for Turtle. Isolating the angles, isolating the fights. Batoon, even through the concuss, wins the 1v1. Humber Esports chaining together a couple rounds now.
Yeah, that Nova Pulse was smooth out of Turtle, but again, another argument on the exhaustive list of examples of why stuns in Valorant are cosmetic, I guess. It's the shot, the leader gets the job done, keeps Humber on that road to recovery there, and it did have to come down to, I think, some risks again taken on the Warriors Black side. They didn't necessarily need to. Like, I like the play from Marble, I like the position from Marble, but I wish you waited so you could have that kind of split attention right? Once Turtle makes it to the site instead of leaving them to that 1v2 because you lose the secondary fight. But Humber, confidence to Oring. The stack though is here, Sam.
Yeah, the stack is here. They have a Viper's pin on B. Oh, that's not what you want. Every single one of the blades not going where it needed to. You get away from the Bucky just in the nick of time, but right into Marble's Phantom. Stops the roll that Humber was building. Warriors Black. Back.
We're like eyes on Arcolem, right? Just because like you're running in with the Bucky, you're chasing down and dismissing Reyna, but that's the distraction, right? The true lethal force was behind them. Just 4K blink and you miss it, right? Like I'm gonna be looking for that clip on Twitter later, right? From Marble's POV.
Absolutely.
Oh wow, he's like, okay, I made a mistake last round, I've got to make up for it, and exactly what he does. 7-2 right now towards Warriors Black, but Humber Esports. Okay, they're going through again the standard procedure. Drawing your duelist into place, see if they can get an entry through. Turtle pinged out. Really can't anchor here because there's not a stack alongside him.
Yep. All alone by yourself, just play the retake and actually wait for 3 players going up the flank.
Planted.
Yeah, they
Trent's
started
gonna
mid.
have- Yeah, Trent's gonna have a lot of pressure building down on them.
Has low HP as well, so I don't expect him to find much unless they don't play the
Ooh.
corner or the shock dart finishes him off. So there's no flank hold now. Did he convey the info before he died?
It doesn't look like it. Wordle not ready for Vermeil. Warrior Black feels like they're winning out in almost every single one of the engagements. Arcombe took a couple of seconds to get there, but eventually did. Marble got it to the half. Turtle comes in to put the nail in the coffin as Warriors Black, again, right, just feeling indomitable.
Yeah, and for Humber Esports, I'm getting the sense that, again, they're aware of what Warriors Black is doing. They're making the right call, I think, to try and counter it. It's just then they're losing the gunfights that are then following up on that plan, right? You look at, okay, when they're down numbers, the right players are getting a little bit aggro or looking for those fights. Here, they tried flipping into backside, right? But that's where the flank didn't steal the spotlight. It was Turtle and Webb that were able to find their own and shut down those players that were trying to get that orange space. So, again, it's a difficult position to be in when it's a best of 5, when you can then maybe view this as a warm-up map and those shots just are not hitting. And we mentioned as well, they just don't have reps on this map, so maybe the crosshair placement just not as crisp as it may be for the Warriors. They're still sitting on the treasure trove of 4 ultimates here as well. Humber, though, has sported a buy and have found the weaker site yet again.
Yeah, found the weaker site. We'll see how weak Vermeil is feeling. Trying to get across the spray of bullets and regroup in mid.
Marble flanking again, too.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, right? Are they going to be ready, though?
Spike planted.
Ethic's right here in the corner. And so ready for it. Oh, the draw! The distraction tactic. It didn't work this time. Thankfully in the nick of time. And gets another one before the relay bolt went off. Prevented that from happening. Quick jump peek. Helps him spot out another player. Or Turtle. 1v5. Gets the first. But couldn't get past the second hurdle. Humber Esports, yeah.
Last round before the switch.
Definitely felt like that was the first time for Waterloo Warriors Black that all facets of their plan kind of fell on its face there a little bit. Like you mentioned, the bait and switch doesn't work from the Neon play. The Web follow-up out of elbow is a little bit late because he's also trying to help the players in tunnel get out, and that's where then you had Rage up towards wall was really nice for positioning. So again, everything that Humber was trying to go for this time works out really, really well. But Warriors Black, all right, instead of giving up and playing full retake on B, let's stack B here and play A retake and see what happens.
Try something a little bit different this time. Off
Yeah.
the Empress, go in, but now Rage is on the other side. Arcombe kicking it into overdrive. But you can't leave Wordle. You can't just let them get away with murder. And Vermeil,
Standing.
right? But there's so many players for them to contend with, so many players for them to fight against.
Spike planted.
Turtle takes down Trim, but bringing themselves back to life. Gotta make sure to win out against another one. A 1v2, an investment of the Viper's Pit to make sure that they win this round and go into the second half 8-4.
This makes it 10 times more difficult, but there is the Cosmic Divide online. Can section off this pit, try to isolate these fights, and that's exactly the idea Turtle is going for. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, hits the ping of the spike. Are they ready? No, they aren't. Instead, walked right into Ethic's bullets. Humber Esports. It looked a little scary for them, but they did manage to bring it back to an 8-4 first half.
No, I was a little scared they were going to line up there, not going to lie, but I definitely Can call that an respectable comeback for Humber Esports, at least to a degree here. Especially if they can win the pistol and then flip that momentum a little bit here. But that's where, again, you start comparing these compositions and what they entail. And to me, Warriors Black were a bit more defensive, right? With that Astra, especially compared to a Clove. And I don't think they'd have as many sight hold capabilities, especially when you look at the stuns. And I mean, just the shots always being on point for Web means that Toon is also going to have to be on fire here. So, again, lots to ask from individuals then on the Humber Esports side to make this defense work.
Huh. Yeah, Warriors Black, it's that, again, right, such a fast fight and brilliant usage of Astra Stars to push the forward player back in a way. Not leaning into the recon dart just yet. All of the noise that were happening here scares Warriors Black away over towards B, the weaker side right now.
Yeah, Vermeil was here since the round start, right? They wanted to see if, okay, are they running what we ran with like a really strong walk down into elbow, and now that they've called it, hey, they didn't. They identified that, yeah, this should be the weaker side aside from Ethic anchoring here, and fortunately they've missed their timing. The rotate's on the way.
Yeah, already 3 players on side, 2 players pushing out through B. Weirtle in the first blood. Marble has a trade onto Ethic. Weirtle's unbelievable amount of carnage that they're able to throw back into the face of Warriors Black. Some full display. However, Turtle sneaked up through elbow. Trin low on the HP. Turtle saw target. Pulls away the crosshair for just a second. Wordle
wait, ace?
on track for the ace.
Concealment.
It's like, don't steal it at this point. You got 2 players on the flank. Rage.
Yeah, Turtle's hearing everything going on
Don't
right
do
now,
it.
but you're not risking the round. You're not risking anything. Humber Esports needed this pistol, and they got it.
Yeah, it was a difficult position. It's kind of like pick your target there for Turtle, because I saw the vision, right? If Marble stays alive, consistently draws it attention, and Trin hadn't checked mid, that should have been an easy one to kill. Then the rain is trapped while the rest are flanking, and then you kind of crunch, and then it's a 2v2. But again, that's where the timing and the Rain's identification that we need to find Marble. Marble's low. Favorite Humber. They keep the pistol that we said was going to be pivotal in the potential comeback here. And that's where it's like, okay, in this meta sim, do you think Breeze is more attack or defense side? I feel like it leans defense a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it leans defense too, right? The amount of entry points are so narrow for Breeze that it makes it difficult to fight against. This 3 stack up in elbow, though, makes Wordle push back over towards mid, and a quick dismiss saves their life in the nick of time, and Rage helping to keep them alive even further than that. Still, though, Warriors Black managed to take down 2 of Humber Esports, so a little, you know, a small silver lining for them.
Yeah, it's a funny position to be in, right? You popped the Nebula there to kind of veil maybe an A split through mid door, but then it really ended up being the Fortress of Solitude that you could then recover in for Humber, that they could play, that they could retreat into off of that dismiss from Wordle, and that Rage could swing out of while leveraging that sniper rifle. It definitely worked against them, and any chance they would have had of getting a potential Thrifty on the board. But this is where we get down to business. Humber Esports, a bonus in the works to maybe make this feel a bit more achievable.
Oof.
They grouped heavily into mid. They want to solo fight Vermeil here.
They really do, right? They're so hungry for it. They have the weapons and they have the firepower. A stake fight maybe to delay things out for as long as they can, but all of that information gathered helps them to realize they were in the back. Wordle is activated, Zobi. That's all I can say.
Crazy shot for sure.
Crazy shot, and it's just converting into even crazier moves here for Humber. All across the board. Humber Esports comes out on top. Warriors Black had no answer against them.
Yeah, that just feels, it's like you're helpless. It's like, what can you do? Like, maybe you cut your losses and you don't try and go for that 1vx trade of the player that doubled back into spawn, because then it made it even worse for the players that did remain on site. Instead of full focused on the site, maybe flipping the site, taking that additional space, shutting down the retake through mid door. Again, some one-off decisions that clearly Waterloo Warriors Black weren't happy with. Timeout to mull over the decisions made, figure out how they can stop making these small mistakes. They're defining outcomes of the rounds before they even really solidify a hold on a site, it feels like. And that's where Humber Esports, you know how I mentioned, I'm like, hey, I need to see them disrespecting Warriors Black while they're on the attack. I feel like we're seeing more disrespect in like the ways they're taking space here on the defense. That feels a bit more characteristic for this composition, right, Sam?
Absolutely, and it was kind of what I was talking about when the last time out we had, where Humber was just not gaining that space on Breeze in their attack. But now on the defense, there's so much more on point about making that happen. That mid-space takeover helped them into a 3v1 against the Viper in mid, and then you pull out another player to maybe get rid of Wordle that just didn't come to fruition, and in fact led to another pickoff. Turtle was gone, Wordle gets theirs, and Warriors Black now in a tailspin. They just can't quite figure out the mechanisms to help them win against Humber.
Absolutely. I think really the solution there is either they need to have really slow it down and wait for these default fights to come to them and not have solo isolated players that Humber can fight against, or you have to go with the complete opposite, right? 5 toward the site really fast, outpace some of these rotations we're seeing after Humber clear these spaces. And with an eco, it's hard to then select that, so I think that's why they are just going really strong forward towards mid, maybe waiting for any initial utility here. And I mentioned it, Humber, this composition, if you can't hold space, you gotta take space, and I thought that's what they were gonna do towards A, and they might because the Owl Drone hasn't spotted anything out. And it's exactly what Wordle has done deep down mid. Warriors Black, if this was a buy round, I like this strat, but I don't know how I feel about it with an eco.
I don't either. There's so much of that presence that Warriors Black wants to fight against that Humber Esports just isn't giving them. And Wordle is kind of being that calling card to make that happen, to draw the attention away. But once that smoke goes up, again, that's going to be one of those moments where, yeah, Tuna's going to have a lot to fight against. They see one, ready with the recon dart, but instead of using it, yeah, right, if you can just get yours, get them. And you see the cloud burst go through, pulls the attention away. Wow. These are some crazy sheriff shots, though. 3 on the board for Warriors Black. Maybe that's just some of the secret sauce they were missing too, Zobi.
I have no clue, just some solo fights going their ways. And they get onto the A site. They have a lurk brewing as well to encapsulate these final few players that still have some guns that could make all the difference in this retake.
Last player standing.
Just doesn't seem to be happening. Through mid! Vermeil realized they made a lot of noise. Trin heard it, but not in time. Thrifty for Warriors Black, and first round for theirs on the attack.
Yeah, that one has to hurt a little bit. Again, Humber, you're putting in all this elbow grease to try and make the comeback work. You win out the bonus, and then you get immediately thriftied after a timeout taken by Waterloo Warriors Black. And they definitely waited out. I think that was the idea, wait out any of those re-clears to come through, but it never came for Humbers, and then they never got a solution. So then they were kind of caught off guard by how many players did in fact come through mid-door, and that's where the Aldrone main didn't spot anything, so they needed to find those answers elsewhere. So yeah, a little bit of a disconnect there in the productivity from Humber, but now with the Empress online, Reyna emboldened, scaling down elbow, drone, scaling down mid, spots out at least the lurking Viper.
And that was on purpose too, right? Vermeil wanted to be caught by that to make them think there was none of that occupying space in mid, but there was. And they haven't seen anything on A. Oh,
Whoa,
unfortunate
whoa.
for Webb. Unfortunate. Couldn't land the killing blow with the Outlaw. Managed to deal good smidge of damage onto Wordle, but not enough to save their own life. Now Warriors Black in a tougher position now that they don't have their initiator to gather them that info to push in onto A, which does have the majority of players on it. So it's going to go down Trin, avoiding one of the stars right there. Players finally making their way onto site. Hearing the calling card, sees two
Huge
players
stun.
there in the corner. That, like you said, is a huge stun. Ridge only able to get the one with the operator, and Turtle catching Wordle off guard. Ethic alone in a 1v3 for the retake.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Warriors Black to me after the timeout. Honestly, aside from what they did on the eco, haven't changed too much. It's just more of a matter of the timings for Humber and the plays they're going for aren't colliding at a head against Warriors Black like they were previously. And so they're slipping these nets. They're getting the Astra backstab right, and what otherwise could be that heroic Wordle kind of clutch mentality. And you're also seeing some sync-ups in this post like that tag team we just saw between your duelists. So
Yeah.
definitely feels like this is where if you're Humber, even though it feels early, I might want another timeout because it feels like you're losing steam. It feels like Warriors Black have figured out their game and are asking you to do the same.
And it just feels like right now, right, Warriors Black has been able to find their confidence in taking some of these fights. And even though Humber was able to get that first blood, the way that Humber holds on to the site, I don't think really conveys that more effective layering that they could be having. So many players were at Pyramid that, yeah, once Warriors Black got on site, it was just so easy for the Neon to get that double relay bolt stun off and no way for Humber Esports to fight against it.
Ooh, and it's that same start, rob them of information. Drone doesn't spot anything. The updraft from the Jet, Rage through mid doesn't spot anything. They are going for a second peek, though. That was
Ooh.
a difference I asked for, but you got more than you asked for.
Thankfully, though, Wordle's going to make sure the numbers are even back out. Still, though, this
Nice
bloodbath
plan,
that
Trey.
happened in mid, yeah. It's eventually going to rotate Warriors Black over towards A main, where Turtle does have this space taken. But Toon, once they realize what's coming in their direction, right, scales back, waits for the regroup, and commits it on. There it is, shown out by the recon bolt, avoiding the first relay bolts from the neon. I just wait. Oh, tip of the barrel! Tip of the barrel. Or Toon gone. Now spike planted 4v3.
Go.
Hunter's Fury online as well. You can see the recoil now from the Sova backing a little bit further towards main. It's going to be
mid
buddy
play.
up, see what you can accomplish. And yeah, that's where the buddies could get stripped apart by Vermeil.
Ooh, I don't think they were
Wordle
seen
there.
either. If, they know that this Viper has been a thorn in the side, but they have to keep moving forward. They're going to try and wait here for as long as they can. But once that calling card has been made, fortunately, Vermeil is in the shots on Werdle, who isn't missing theirs out in the open.
Whoa!
The tag team duo, Viper and the Reyna, keeps the Humber Esports dream alive for another round.
And I love how usually you get like one player that might think they finished off an opponent and then turn to fight the next, but they both did it in the same fight against each other. That was really funny to watch between Vermeil and Wordle. But that's where, again, I think Humber Esports started to pick up, like you mentioned, the lurking Viper, and Wordle found that timing. And also, it felt like Warriors Black, we saw this in the previous half, they aren't really leaning into the ultimates and the win cons they can form around them, right? There was never like a Stark exec plan off their ultimates, and there wasn't a Stark post-plant plan off that Hunter's Sphere either that could have bought them so much time instead of these isolated fights on site. So, all in all, double digits though for Warriors Black. Humber, 2 rounds still separating, and Op online as well, but you're gonna have to use that for the retake, it looks like, unless Wordle can do something.
Yeah, different look here too, right? All 5 players flooding in through B main. Oh, sorry, only 4 rather. You left
Dasher
Turtle
bottom in.
behind in mid to play for that lurk, but it's just taking so long. I guess they're maybe waiting for someone to go up through window. Meanwhile, the fight is breaking out all over site. Wordle seeing an opportunity to go in. Marble blasts off with the operator, instead right back in the face.
Whoa!
Oh, double kill! Gets rid of Wordle, gets rid of Rage, and finally Turtle gets one on their own. Picking up the pace, picking up the speed. Warriors Black. It's only 2 more rounds to go.
And that's where, again, the trade-off for Radioliers versus a full-blooded Flash cannot do justice sometimes. I mean, that was crazy. Little double there from Arcolem, definitely making all the difference there. After I was about to be like, okay, you don't know the ops there, so I don't fault you for taking those aggro fights, but then they were going to start getting punished for them in my mind if they kept swinging these longer sight lines around pillar. So huge shutdown again against a player like Wordle, who's doing Wordle things, is about to drop 30 on the Reyna, and it still might not be enough. Warriors Black finally utilizing some of those ultimates. It still has some to lean into, but it's the same same start from Warriors Black now, just very mid-centric because of how Humber Esports started this half, consistently utilizing that space to have these quick-footed rotations.
4 players mid. Trend, just a classic to their name. Wordle has an opportunity though, maybe. Right, get there 1, but Arcom's so ready. Not even a blink and you'll miss it moment. That's how quick it was. Warrior Black had the numbers advantage. Vermeil even has all this space on B. Hasn't seen anything suspicious so far. Make a calling card to pull away from B. In fact, might even be the right decision. Right, the only player left here is Ethic.
You are divided.
Ethic's usually played it safe. You should be now pretty sure this is a hit, but what is this?
Wait a minute, stand there, ground right in the middle of sight. Lasted far longer than I expected them to. Even managed to bring down one with them, but the inevitable always happens. The inevitable always comes. There's actually a chance for Train to get a nice little weapon upgrade from their fallen Reyna, so yeah, walking up through
They
flank.
didn't make noise. I love where Warriors Black is positioned as well. They're really not vulnerable to this flank. Marvel, the only one that you maybe could get timinged. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is, but right, you fall back down, Turtle. Looking towards arches, looking back towards flank. Keeping an eye on that, and yeah, 1 clean headshot there. A couple of shots from the Sheriff, but they are all going to the target, around the target. And Turtle cleans it up. Warriors Black, match point.
We saw the
Ironically, Turtle 1 not turtling there in the post after the Jet follows back with the sniper rifle, which, again, that's why they were on that elevated position, is because they had an eco killer weapon. But it was just that, an eco round for Humber. They really are hinging on these 4 rounds to put them into overtime. Yeah, there's the broken shields that you'll have to worry about on the flip side there for this defense. But, again, Warriors Black, they definitely changed from, I think, these full stop commitments into space head on that then Humber with these early fights were capitalizing off of into wait, perceive, okay, where's the Sova, where's the clear, where's the presence, the aggressive take like what we've seen through B, and they pivot away from it. But this feels a bit too late now. Humber have the answers, they're gonna close in, and they're gonna, I think,
wow,
pull
what
a
the
fast
timing is
one.
that? What the timing is that? Had it been just like a couple seconds earlier, they may have caught Warriors Black off guard, and there's still an opportunity to do that, but with the way they're scaling, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Turtle pulled away just in time, and Wordle's clearing this out, and Fernmeal just shift walks. And Wordle had to have been looking at the mini-map or something, because they were completely off guard. Yeah, Toon gets theirs, but the relay bolt was just a calling sign of death. Rage is still up in the flank, but again, right, you gotta fight through the Viper's pit.
Oh, no info either. No res for the Clove, a second lifeline after you pinpoint where the Viper is, and the Blades are going searching! Mistake, maybe.
Yeah, just spray through the smoke. Hope for a lucky pick, and it was close. Not close. Ooh, wait a second here. Fernmeal sees an opportunity, dips out of their Viper's pit. They saw just enough of what they needed to, and clutches out the victory for Warriors Black. 13-8 on Breeze.
Ooh, their map pick going their way. Again, a slow start for Humber Esports. Maybe a shimmer of what could be to come, since this is a best of 5 grand finals for your NECC Winter Spring Division 3 champions on the line. And again, there's reasons why these two teams got here. I feel like Humber, again, you can maybe argue the underdogs despite beating teams that have also bested the side of Waterloo Warriors. They definitely look like the more well-rounded, well-depth team versus this Puggy comp. But Sam, we're headed to the Pugger's Paradise next, aren't we, of Haven?
Yeah, I mean, right, if there was ever a map that you're looking towards to have that kind of fun on, it's Haven. But speaking of fun, numbers are fun, and we have a whole slew of them with our stats page. Of course, you're going to have 2 duelists occupying the top spots, but it is going to be Wordle who gets ahead just by a smidge. That's not to take away anything from Marble, who is also putting up almost equal numbers. Very close.
Oh, absolutely. And again, so it's like that condition is checkmarked right now. Okay, your duelists are in fact dueling. It's a matter that, okay, how can we get the rest online? And for me, it does feel like how can we get then the side of Humber all on the same page, right? I feel like they got a little bit stronger mid-rounding. I feel like in that first half specifically, when they needed to all be on the same page going into the latter half into a pivot, it could have been a very different outcome, but it never came.
Never did. Never came to fruition. But hopefully you'll be able to come to them in the second map of Haven as we head into our first break of the night. But don't go anywhere, because this is the NECC Valorant Grand Finals here in Division 3. You do not want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.
You were the calm to my storm. You could take the wind, and though the winters were calm, weighing on our shoulders, these the eyes could never breath us in. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve. You were my horizon that I didn't see at first. You were my horizon, and the breeze is just what I deserve.
have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NECC Division 3 Grand Finals between Humber Esports and Waterloo Warriors Black. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me yet again is Zobi. Zobi, we just had a crazy map number 1 where Warriors Black was able to take the win over Humber 13-8 on Breeze.
Yep, their map pick, their half, and their closeout. Although we did see Humber again kind of capable of showing off what they are capable of. We already saw again the explosivity of players like Wordle, and I do think that Haven is going to be right up their alley, despite both teams having a mixed bag of results on this map, both 2 and 3 across the entirety of this season.
Well, you know, after taking a look at how both of these teams have played, Zobi, I think we should take a look at some of the uncommon traits that we saw from one of them, that we saw from Humber specifically, right? It was a tough map for them, but they still managed to walk through 13-8, especially after that rough first half of the first half, but they did manage. Yeah, right. They eventually got to the 8-4 finish line in that first half, which I didn't think that they were going to be able to make it to, but they eventually were, and they still had that tenacity going into the second half. But yeah, Warriors Black was just able to pull ahead at the very end. But I do want to see some of those uncommon traits that we're going to be talking about here in a very short minute.
Well, I mean, for our uncommon traits, again, it's a mix of things that we've already seen, things that we were promised from this team, or things that we want to see more of. Moving on to our second map, right, of Haven. Reminder, this is a best of 5, since it is a grand conclusion. And then before we jump over to Humber, then we can discuss really quickly again the things that worked for the opposition, right, for Waterloo Warriors. And I lied. Humbers are ready to go. Just like that, we want them to steal the show to give us a competitive series. There it is, the Humber uncommon traits. And we said Puggy Paradise, channel the rage, and stay durable under pressure. Now, Sam, tell me about the durableness of this squad and why we just talked about it, right? A little bit on Pearl. A little bit on Breeze.
Touched a little bit of it, right? It was a tough first half. It was, I think it would have broken any lesser team, any lesser school, but Humber was able to hold on. They took their timeouts. They weren't egoing through it. They needed to have those discussions. They had them, and they were able to have that durability under the pressure to, at the very least, squeeze something out of what I would have considered a disastrous moment when they were looking at a 0-6 scoreline.
Absolutely. And that then shifts to, okay, what do we want to see from them on Haven? Number 1, we said this before the break, this is a Puggy Paradise, right? So it does feel like this map is going to, I think, cater a little bit more to what they're currently running, which again is the result of the shifting gears, the shifting roster, right? And part of that as well was Rage, right? He was 9-20 on map 1, and I've seen him at the top of the scoreboard on this double duelist alongside Wordle. So they both are online on a map like Haven that thrives off of taking aggressive space on the defense. It's going to be very, very different, Sam.
It is going to be very different. And then, you know, right, we've seen what this squad can do. We've seen what this team can do. And we see now that we're going to that Haven map where, right, it's one of those maps that you have an idea of what needs to be done. It's one of those maps where comfortability should be at its highest. And once we take a look at the agents in game, right, yeah, that makes sense. And we even have Mix, my boy Mix.
Okay, this is fun fact for you guys as well. On the Humber esports side, I did see them. They were the team that was playing some other tournaments, some of their lead the past few weeks, and they were experimenting with this mix. So I'm really excited to see it come out. I feel like it is very aggro style and can provide support in the moment, which they're going to need if they want this attack half to go their way.
I become sort of a mix main now, Zobi. I love the agent. I love the way that they play. I'm also loving this first contact with Marble and Trin. Traded out by Archolm. Look at that. Warriors Black wants to take the space on Haven. You're gonna have another fight. Archolm is just not giving up. And why should you? When you're taking down 3 players, eventually gonna be forced back. And yeah, Epic, I don't have that imbot to be able to heal themselves back up to full.
The spike.
May have been useful here, but yeah, look at all the space that's been gained on A. Very least they might be able to get a spike plant. Arcom is at 1 HP, right? At Headhunter, would have been able to blast them off into the stratosphere, but yeah, Wordle knows that they need to play whatever picks they can get. It's not out of the woods just yet.
Oh, absolutely. They need to go back for seconds and thirds at this rate since Athlete doesn't have that heal online. A little CT smoke to maybe veil the fact that Wordle is in fact playing from the 7th position. Spike kind of planted for him. He could go for a tuck, but it is... I'm gonna say Three Musketeers thought they were gonna clear heaven first, but no. They're in prime position to make this clutch happen.
And should be hearing all of the footsteps down below. First one, Arcom slides in, looking towards heaven. Relay bolt to try and secure themselves. Ethic on the other side. They just knew though. Arcom one away from the ace. Ethic 25 HP. Gets rid of Vermeil before they can get the defuse. I think they were able to do it just in the nick of time. 1.7 seconds left. In the mix of time, Humber Esports clutching it out thanks to Ethic.
Wow. I mean, it's like, it was kind of a moment about it later than ever, right? The trade is not quite there because of the scatter effect that we did see them up against when we saw World going for the heaven position. But again, a nice duo, I think, to finish off that round of the really, really rocky start. And I mean, considering you started 0-6, I think you are very, very happy to have this attack side pistol, no matter how you spin it.
No, absolutely. It's pulling victory from the jaws of defeat. That should have been in all reality a very lost round. Marble ducks away from the recon dart, but Arcom not good enough. That's actually going to send Humber Esports away, right? You're not going to lean into Warriors Black sight where they could have had the possibility of taking a gun away, winning out in gunfights. Now play it safe, play it smart. Humber Esports doing exactly that.
Waltzing into a site where Turtle is as well alone, no paranoia either, really to support that survivability. So goes for the short tuck and unfortunately does not get their way. Really thorough clear out from short, which is exactly what you want from Humber. No mistakes on this eco round.
No mistakes at all. Don't lean into any of it.
They're playing exits. It looks like they've already activated that mode, right? The Neon playing containment there over towards Garden. I don't think they're going for this, or at least trying to.
And
just smart.
Humber Esports is not playing. Ooh, maybe Rage might. Okay. Yeah, that alarm bot is going to throw something around. Yeah, try to play for something there. Come back. Oh, beautiful from Marble. The shorty. It's one weapon
so
off
got
the
what
map.
He wanted.
Yeah,
Got the Phoenix
Arcom's
Soul.
going to wait here. Oh, and again. Neon is another level right now. Although you got yours and 2 other players gets taken out by the spike. Humber Esports. Again, you just lose 2 players, you're good to go.
Yeah, there we go. And I honestly, 2 players for the price of the Phoenix Ult, I think is very, very fair. This definitely gives me bonus ability in mind if you can set Rage up with a weapon and then hand it back, as we just saw with the Spectre. So I really hope that they do use that to get in to the C site that they're kind of primed for. Usually you like to set it up towards Garage so it gets a little bit more space, a little bit bang for its buck in terms of distance, but I think they have full trust in Wordle's ability with this Headhunter full shield combination to put in that legwork instead. So I'm curious to see what Warriors Black do, since they are playing very heavy A, very retake style on C.
Yeah, well, Rage has already got that. Run it back online. Goes in, clears out the site fully. Allows the spike to get planted for relatively little resistance. But again, right, you're looking towards 3 players flooding out of A site. I think it's finally going to get the spike down. Vermeil sees an opportunity to look inside of Garage, a quick peek in there, and instead you're just getting immediately stonewalled. And instead of fighting against that, you're just going to go back around. Turtle, it's sort of Trin, who is already down at death's door. And you're looking for more opportunities. Marble in the back, in the flank. I don't even think they realize that they're going to be here. It's a 2v2 now to determine the fate of this bonus round. Warriors Black desperately needing it, and Humber Esports determined to convert this into a round 1 for themselves, but they're not ready. The player in flank! Never mind, Marble! Couldn't land the killing blow, couldn't land anything! Tune and Rage couldn't have had more than 10 HP between the two of them.
Wow, I mean, a deadly game of Ring Around the Rosie there. The timing just perfection for Humber Esports, right? Rage got the tuck right there around logs, and Toon a nice little 180 there to finish off, like you mentioned, Marble, who was on the whiffiness a little bit. But Humber Esports, that bonus gets converted. They're looking like the team that was stronger despite losing map number 1. And Warriors Black, I'm nervous for this round. Maybe you can leverage an overdrive here, but with Arcolm playing first contact grass, something tells me we're not gonna get that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But what we are gonna get is Marble showing off with the Sheriff, Arcolm sending it into overdrive, but when you go into a hailstorm of bullets, it's just usually not gonna work out for you.
Whoa.
Wordle's throwing it right back into their face. If Marble can do it, I can do it too. Make it look even better with a double kill. Rolling casually onto site. Takes a couple of shots for their transgressions. They've been eaten alive by the swarm grenade, but a 3K is going to put a smile on the face of any chamber.
Absolutely, Wordle continuing
Spike planted.
their dominance in the server, whether it's the Reyna or the chamber, but now eyes turn towards Turtle. Marshall in hand. Might be able to at least take an isolated fight against this Jet over towards grass. Lower HP too. Could get the job done. Oh, the tuck timing missed. Turtle's just gonna likely jump out.
Right. No. Yeah, I mean, he jumps out. But yeah, Trin right on the ball. Humber Esports 4 in a row now and getting sort of flashbacks to Breeze right now. Timeout's going to be called from Warriors Black. Try and right this sinking ship.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like think about like what is sticking out in terms of Humber and how they're playing that differs compared to Breeze, and it's just like the maps are so different. It's hard to see that continuity, especially, I mean, I can say that one of the uncommon traits that's been fulfilled, Rage feels like he's activated. He's definitely, I think, the flashes here are so night and day difference compared to the Reyna, which they have actually played Reyna on this map, actually. Last time they played this map, it was a Reyna Phoenix, actually, with Coma in the server. It was Jet, Sova, Clove, Reyna, Phoenix. And so they switched the mix, they switched to, again, the Jet, and this dive setup has been clean. The mix support has been on point as well. Like, that's a very comfortable area for Ethic, and that's where, for Warriors Black, this round's gonna be interesting because it's an ult round for Humber, and you're also now stuck in that buy save arc, so it does feel kind of what must win, or that deja vu full swing Sam, and we would probably see another 06.
Yeah. See another 06, and hopefully Warriors Black can make the similar miracles happen that Humber Esports were able to. But, right, it's 4-0. They had their timeout. They have the buy that they can use. And already I'm getting different flavors, right? That Neon is primed and ready to go to sprint down C-site.
Oh, no.
See long? Yeah, where it's going to be a bloodbath, potentially. Relay ball through. Put it in with the recon dart. And Rage is activated, getting the first blood. Arcolm has the trade, and yeah, you're just going to back off. You saw so many players breathing down your neck. You have to go to A. You know that's a perfect opportunity to be there. And Warriors Black are still here, Zobi.
Gotta go.
Yeah. I feel like, to me, the Phoenix made a choice to stick around, gets the 1-for-1, and they had the Chamber Lurk A side that then took that additional space while the rest rotate over. And my concern is that Warriors Black played it like they have a lockdown to play retake with that I don't see, obviously, in Vermeil's hands. And so now, I mean, you're retaking in a 4v4. You've lost your secondary duelist. And I'm not sure what's left in the tank, really, after that long C fight.
Yeah. You committed so much in a fight that Humber Esports just disengages from immediately. And then you're going to get your ears blown out by a mix ultimate. Vermeil slowed down, and it's all just about buying that time. Arcolm's in your flank, but nothing's going to be coming from that. Our Warriors Black, right? Your time's starting to run low. Numbers working against you. All by yourself. Turtle a 1v2, but too little too late. Humber Esports got it all on lockdown.
Yeah, very, very difficult goal for Warriors Black to find themselves out of. It feels like we did curse them into the deja vu 06 right now, unless they get another Thrifty on the board, which is kind of what shut down the comeback from Humber over on Breeze. But to me, it's also not as much of the Marble show like what we saw over on Breeze, and that's where I think it definitely has turned the difficulty dial up a little bit, is demanding more of the synchrony between these teams. And Warriors Black, I haven't really seen that, especially in some of these A retakes, so we'll see if that gets fixed, especially since they are still playing super light towards a certain site to play retake on. Like, they've got to figure that out.
And Wordle not getting oh wow, look at this timing too. Arcolm's not even to check A long. They're so determined at what could come out on the other side of the smoke that they have completely ignored Wordle. It still may actually work out to their benefit. Yeah, just run through. I think maybe a little bit more discipline on that fight, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're Neon. You can just get away with that in a Bucky. And you run back through. But Wordle still has all of this space they've gained on A.
I win again.
Yep. And that's where it leads them into.
Yeah, and Wordle's not done just yet. Anchor up. Oh, all the blades whiffed.
Marble not having a good day right now. And Wordle's going to make it even worse with a crazy headshot that I'm going to need a replay on that one. But they still have the numbers advantage for Warriors Black.
Yeah, maybe one gun salvaged as well. Hunter's Fury ready off tap if desired, but drone first and foremost. Oh no, the full sense of
Tries
security.
to go for the gun. Tries to go for the
Didn't
gun.
see anything. They didn't think there was anyone there.
Humber played it perfectly. Now you're down to a 2v2. Warriors Black still only just has a sheriff, still only has that stinger. And they're waiting for a perfect opportunity to try and take this. Yeah, in comes the swarm grenades, shock dart, deal some chip damage here and there. 2v2. And now Vermeil try as they might to get the one with the sheriff, but couldn't get the two. Humber Esports making my deja vu come true.
And I mean, look at the ults. So yeah, we're coming into Warriors Black at Byron. That maybe could stop in the 06 from further converting, but yeah, the Poker's Paradise has come true. We'll just put it that way, right? They're lounging on the beach, give them a fruity drink with an umbrella. Non-alcoholic for everyone, but all in all, Marvel, change of pace cannot come faster, so I like the operator pickup here. It does show they may shift away from this retake prowess, but that's why I wanted to maybe see it on C. They're having no issues taking A space. It's C retake that they've yet to pinpoint.
Joke's over.
Yes, it is. And what's even worse, right, is the bevy of ultimates breathing down their neck, a tour de force, a run it back, and very little of this KJ utility can do to stop it. The swarm grenade is going to buy them some time, but some is not going to be anywhere near enough. Humber Esports finally going to reconvene. Now it's for the full 5v5.
Yeah, tap to see if they'd use the Hunter's Fury, no dice, and now it is just split. They've gotten garage control.
Ooh. Got even more player control. Vermeil just spraying through the smoke. Gets rid of Wordle, gets rid of the tour de force. Massive victories. And almost every single player. All home going nuts. Going crazy. Determined to give Warriors Black this round. And it may just have been the secret sauce that they needed. The retake successful.
Yeah, that just feels like Humber oversimplified the post plant just a touch. Maybe an underestimation as well when you're up 6-0 of the sheer util that Warriors Black, if salvaged, can dump into a retake, right? We talked about how Warriors Black early on were using a lot of that util super early to take space. They've since reserved it for that retake, and that was a difference I wanted to see, right? Paranoia lands, really bolt lands. Arcolin with the dash in was great, or the slide we should say was great. And while the Phoenix tried to refight out of long, again, they just stockpiled so many players around default, around Splat, that it just was not a fun look for them. It just collapsed inward when Warriors Black played how they wanted to. And now they actually have a retake strategy, I'd argue. If the KJ survives, okay. And you have the lockdown, but ooh. Careful.
Okay, this is a little bit scary. Not as scary, though, as it was for Wordle, who got taken down by Marble's operator. Marble's been and Marble's been kind of quiet this game, right, Zobi? They haven't quite had the successful run that they were experiencing in Breeze.
Ooh, no, absolutely not. That's where the rest of the team is starting to step up to fill those gaps, and is exactly what we need. And they've even regrouped here. The correct read on to be
unbelievable.
Had the shot.
Had the shot, but guess what? So did Rage. And turns out there's one just worked a little bit better. Trying to go through with a harmonized epic, a 1v3, isolating them. Right, has that impulse, gets the new mix tech, brings them back up to full HP, but they know exactly where this mix is. They know that they are hiding in backside, and so now you pinch them down, you bring them out, and Warriors Black, it's that second.
Yeah, that was honestly, I feel like, Humber Esports again, not realizing how deep the roots for Warriors Black go, right? Like, you already lose a player A side and no one goes to re-clear it, right? Like, the Neon's just sitting there and you have the full KJ util on C, so they can very confidently rotate that stack onto B. Whether the op from Marble falls or not, there were more players to back it up, right? Such as Arcolin, who had that really nice movement around and alongside Turtle to shut down the Phoenix entry. So, again, those re-clears are going to come in clutch for this team if they actually start utilizing them. And on the flip side, Humber Esports versus Warriors Black. This feels like a big swing round, right? I feel like the reserves finally have to get depleted from Humber Esports. They lose this round, and look at the ults that they have now to hopefully propel them. They've simplified the game a little bit. I'm just expecting Phoenix ult entry into A, and that's where the KJ has also switched over.
You're dead.
Turtle's just playing with fire now. They think they can get away with all of this space for free, but Warriors Black is caught on board with that. Like you said, go in with the run it back. Rage is not going to gain too much more, but other than the fact that you've left Vermeil on the side by themselves, they're still scrapping out as best they can, but once Rage gets back, no longer a run it back. It's the real thing, and the real thing, step above.
Yeah, that site smudge just seconds late to comfortably navigate away from for that Killjoy. Vermeil anchoring back site. They got their job done, though. They've given the 3v3, and you have that overdrive ideally to leverage into the retake, since you're already cut down to size with the operator being part of this picture.
Yeah, trying to go in with the relay ball. The paranoia, Archolm even commits their ultimate, but Trin's going to be having none of that. Quick headshot eliminates the Neon. They know that they're hiding in the corner. You're running out of time, you're running out of opportunities, and
Save the op.
Trin is, gonna send him back, and Turtle's out of here. Marble, 1v1 between Jet v Jet, and Marble lands that one. Needs to get away with the operator to make it all worth it. And may get one more for their effort. They do.
Blade Storm. Huge, I'd argue, with Toon giving that final kill over. Can now allow them to have the full force, it feels like, then of a retake instead of the crutch of the operator, but all in all, Warriors Black having a similar turnaround to their half that we saw from Humber Esports over on Breeze. So, all right, Sam, call it another 8-4. You got the deja vu right before.
Yeah, I'm getting, I'm getting the flavors of the 8-4 coming towards me, but I don't think we're gonna quite get that level of deja vu. At least I hope not.
I think if Warriors win this, it's a 7-5.
Oh, I think so too, Marble. This is getting flash, and they're not missing the shot. This is an excellent way to start the round for Warriors Black. Not so much if you're Humber Esports.
Yeah, again, it feels like Humber... at this point, I would hope they understand what Warriors Black defensive plan looks like, and then they keep throwing in wrenches where I'm like, do they? Right? Like you're fighting towards the A stack when C has worked so well for you, and it's a coin toss of if Warriors Black can play that retake game or not. And that's where then you can leverage, okay, this double duelist can maybe fight into CT, can throw some chaos into it that they haven't done already. And speaking of, haven't done, regroup. You're in front of B main. Web. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good idea though, right? Because really, all that recon drone is to allow Archolm to get on site. They immediately dipped out, by the way, and left Webb to fight this all alone. It worked though somehow. Trin up on the high ground, but they're all alone, and instead, Turtle was waiting for you. Brings them down to heal. The Warriors Black. 3-7.
I am fully convinced that, aside from the half ending the suffering, Humber need to go see right now. Like, again, if you can't come up with a fix as the game progresses, you need to find out what does work for you. And again, the B refloods look so strong from Warriors Black. They've yet to really dismantle this A long, A short hold as well, aside from when you really saw Warriors Black give it up and Wordle capitalize off of a lurk that side. That has yet to happen again, right? So if they're going 5 garage, I like it. Get past the Killjoy, right? Ensure they cannot use a retake ultimate here. This could lead to an eco success if they get the kills.
Yep. Go in with the flash and just run it down. Try to take over the side as fast as you can, but we've seen now what Warriors Black win condition is. Hold on to all that utility and just flood it right back in.
That's where they have to fight into CT. This is what I need to see. The Phoenix, the curveball. Probably a harmonized from Ethic, ideally.
Something, anything. They're waiting for the right moment and the opportunity, but it's just too little too late. Up in the updraft, right over the top. Bring the attention to the skies above, and the rest of the team brings them all down to the ground below. And this poor Wordle, this poor Turtle, put back in its shell. Humber Esports just cannot stop Warriors Black, it feels like.
And that's where again, you just look at Warriors Black and it's like, okay, they know what's up. They know exactly what Humber Esports is going to do in terms of that refight into CT, and they were prepared for it. And that's where again, the team fights, the groupings there were super strong. And I like that they didn't underestimate Humber either, right? He still got the lockdown. They still invest their fair share of ultimates to ensure that that round does not slip through the cracks, that they do set themselves up quite well for that 7-5. So we technically lean towards the 7-5, Sam, right? Because we said that if Warriors Black won 2 rounds ago. So let's see if Humber Esports can end on a high note.
Hopefully they can. It's exactly what they're looking for on the attack side at Haven. It feels like if you don't have that advantage as far as you can, it's just not going to work out for you. Vermeil, quick destruction of the recon bolt over the top. That's not going to give any information that Humber Esports could have used. Wordle's just tucked so... the TP. I think he TP'd. No, he didn't, because he still has it.
I think
I don't know.
there's just a gap there, and then maybe it just eclipses the box side. Maybe the trap. Maybe you're gonna see them like suddenly wallbang this, and then they're just obliterated.
I don't know, but that's
now,
gonna...
It's gonna be a red herring, it feels like, for these players that have cleared now. They think Garage is going to be light, and
Oh, now they've been seen. Now they know that Wordle's in the corner. Here it goes.
Do they?
Do they not know? Maybe they don't, actually. Okay, Vermeil still gets a double kill. And then Marble cleans up Trin with a shorty. 2 players left on Humber Esports. As swing over to the other side, blood out of Garage, 212 HP. Nothing to work with here. Almost no hope, no opportunities. Can't even use the Hunter's Fury. Vermeil's 3K, Warriors Black. It's 7-5 first half.
all right, you get your 06 read, I get my 7-5 read.
There you
We're
go.
squared away. Let's go. And honestly, yeah, they figured out how, I think after that first time out, to retake the C side. Again, they realized they were overcommitting the balance of util in the early round versus the late round. And once that chord was struck, it was good to go. Versus again, Humber, they started changing things up. And once we saw, again, what worked stop working, they just couldn't come to the correct solution. So again, the side swap here, the best thing that could have happened for them and their chances at taking their map pick away. But that's where then we're leaning into, okay, how attack sided is attack side Haven? How attack side was the Humber Esports composition? And I think we're gonna find out real quick here, Sam.
I think so too. Warriors Black proved on their attack how tenacious they are. And how they lean into the Neon's efforts. And especially on a map where, right, this is Neon's playground. Gonna be a lot of scary things going on here. Quick Omen peek to see what's happening in mid. Dodging out on a couple of those shots. Lives to tell the tale, and it looks like they want to take this B fight very seriously. Looks like it might happen. Get over on the other side of the Molly. Trin can't land anything with the Sheriff inside of the smoke.
Whoa.
Marble is there. Dips out, grabs another one, gets rid of Trin. Now you back over to the other side at the 22 HP. No hope, nothing to give themselves anything. Actually didn't even realize that Vermeil was shooting at them in their screen.
Wow. Marble's back. That's all I'm going to say after that round. I mean, just taking that crazy fight into a link. I was nervous. Humber Esports, the util there looked pretty clean, right? The hot hands, the molly from the Phoenix comes out really effectively to split those players up to try and divide that double dive out of Warriors Black. But then it felt like the duelists that were anchoring that site, particularly Trin and Rage, kind of got isolated and then picked off by the timings. So all in all, fortunate way to lose the pistol, but that's exactly what Warriors Black were hoping for. They can fight their way back in. Just, you know, deny Nico and you're tied.
And really, they just wanted to try and grab this ult orb. Could have potentially gotten rid of Wordle. Not on the ball there, but they did do a lot of damage. I mean, Wordle is hanging on by a thread of HP. Now we're looking at the 1v1 fight. Turtle so low themselves now, too. Teleports over to the other side, and it may just be that B-hit ending that we had in the first round happening again here.
Makes me nervous for any anti-eco to end there, and it seems like Warriors Black echo that sentiment, immediately vacate the premises. Hopefully they think they've shuffled the positions a little bit more from Humber Esports. They'll get the C side at a minimum, but I am worried because now you have at least a little bit more time in Humber Esports side to work with since they rotated off A, since they rotated into that B space. And now, since they've collected probably a gun ideally off of Vermeil.
Yeah, Turtle, right, already down to 22 HP inside a garage. I still think a majority of the heavy weapons were on the players that are still on site. Epic gonna run. Webb's doing a phenomenal job here, right? It's all just about that distraction play. In that close call, whoa, what's going on here? Arcone got a little bit too ahead of the curve. They wanted to try and fight this, and instead it just leaves Humber Esports into the thrifty buy round victory.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the Triangle of Trust just showed us why it's the strongest support shape. Just taking the garage fight and then that CT fight, it's like Warriors Black got the memo a little bit late of like, okay, if we're losing garage space, we need to fight into CT, and then they fought into CT into the stack where they didn't have numbers, and where if Arkle misses those shots, then it's under pandemonium because the players on site aren't really ready to follow it up. So, on a disaster in the standard arc comeback from a 7-5 half, and now, I mean, not just the weapons, but you have to run it back as well for the star of that show, Rage.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments that you're gonna look back on, especially in the grand finals, that didn't quite need to do this. Out comes the fast lane, out goes the mixed smokes. That fast lane is actually doing a lot of heavy lifting to keep the players in sewers safe and obscuring the vision of Trin just enough. But now we're at a standstill, Zobi. We're at a landmark moment where both of the teams are just letting each other breathe right now.
Yeah, it feels like right now Warriors Black wanted to sell a fake. It's like, oh, our Neon's dumping their entire kit into A, when in reality, we're going elsewhere. And that's a typical Haven strat, but the issue is Humber Esports, they're not leaving. They haven't been duped, and now the Owl runs the second layer to like, maybe feign the rotate, but they still haven't left. Right? Trademark hasn't gone unbroken in Garage. Mix has a line on Grass with no additional pressure behind that drone. They're still going to run into a stack. They're still going to run into even a run it back.
They're just waiting. Humber Esports. Yeah. They are determined. They're not leaving anything uncontested. Recon Bolt's still gonna go out, hits him with paranoia. They didn't clear the corner. They didn't clear the corner. They did not clear the corner, but somehow Arcombe, it was on breeze when they hit that shot with the Bucky. Are you kidding me? But Trin's gonna make it look so easy with the shorty, and Rage comes back onto the site, gives Humber Esports into the 9th.
Yeah, again, it's like Warriors Black tried as they did to play the mind games, and Humber Esports said, if we just stay where we are, we cannot get duped, and that's exactly what happened. I think it was a great util entry from Warriors Black, but it was even better counter util from Humber Esports. Again, that run it back. Again, I think Trin played around with like a side smoke fading timing. That's my only rationale for how he was able to effectively get in and out of Graffiti unpunished, but the difficulty here is that a Thrifty converted, and the following gives him an operator for C.
All right, so yeah, you've got to see that with. Okay, you've definitely heard it. If you didn't see it before, you heard it. Marble doesn't care. That relay bolt, near perfection to delay them out long enough, but still Trin lives. Still, she has more times to fight. And the second they swing out of the smoke, Wordle's gonna rip their head right off. And even with the efforts of Arcombe to equalize things back around, Ethics there with the Guardian to throw things into a tailspin for Warriors Black. Thankfully, Vermeil has righted the ship a little bit.
Ooh.
Wow.
Vermeil?
Wait a second. He bailed out again. Trin just got bailed out by Toon. Scraping by the odds. Now smoke goes up into Garage. Helps cover the angle, prevent them from getting sniped by the operator. I'm gonna see if anyone's gonna be bold enough to peek. It's always one of those moments where you're overthinking just a tad bit.
Spike planted.
Ooh. Open's gone down. No TP for reposition from the Omen. Dart. First step.
Ooh, 2-player shot. Now they know where both are in these angles. Set up a paranoid. Perfect blind. But it's a 1v2. They cannot mess this up. Looks like Turtle wants to go for a wrap. Yeah. Want to go for a wrap into Garage. No, not even a wrap, just in through CT. And it was just a small amount of pixels that Toon didn't see of Turtle. And it cost them their life. Warriors Black. It's keeping it going.
Ooh. Again, it's like I'm not a believer, Sam, until I see it happen, because we've been here before, right? It's like Humber was always trailing by those 2 rounds, and we never quite crossed that tie threshold, and so now I'm just like holding with bated breath to see if it's the same case for Warriors Black, right? Like, yeah, that was a really, really clean way to play out the end of that round. Again, just tucking away, playing it very safely, but can't get into those positions every round, and ooh, I was gonna say, look at Rage. Crazy skilling out of Garage. The KJ gets punished immediately after getting that space for free previously.
And now they've gone up even further to try and beat out the rotate from Warriors Black. They keep their life. They didn't get anyone, but they got the information that Warriors Black is starting to rotate over towards A, and that's going to put a stall on where they were going. And in fact, a stall enough that Wordle was able to push out of C long, eliminate Archolm, and may even be able to get more for their effort. Yeah, second one on the board. Now Warriors Black only has 2 players left alive.
Oh, and you have Trin solo anchoring A. You're going to hear the run down long, get out and just play a retake since, like you mentioned, numbers are on their side. They don't care if a spike plant goes the way of Warriors Black. And I do like this. I feel like Humber traded the re-clear space of grass for so much information and basically surefire way to win this round. And I was going to say, Heroics could get the job done from the shadows.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, sees every single one of them.
It doesn't set Marvel up.
They realize how close Trin is. That paranoia, chef's kiss. And they're not going to be seen by the recon bolt either, but not cleared up. Oh my God, Rage. Oh my God. I'm a little bit in awe of what I just saw there. First of all, Marvel didn't get blinded by the flash, but Rage just flicks right back over 180 degrees and gets Humber Esports into the double digits.
Wow. And now they're entering the old cycle. Again, Warriors Black, it's that consistency of buy save that they're trapped in and why it's so hard to get yourself out of that hole unless something heroic happens, unless you strike that consistency. I mean, again, it's like Humber Esports. We already know the defense is strong from the grit that they showed trying to claw their way back over on Breeze. And they're lucky that they get to do it, display it again here. Again, the disrespect, the walkdowns, the re-clears. Warriors Black, again, they do everything as a team, but the fights are just going the individual's ways.
Watch your eyes!
It is, and it hurts. Again, they're taking up all of the space, though. Fight inside a garage, get rid of the trap, maybe pull some of this attention away. Look at where Trin has posted up. It avoids getting detected by the alarm bot, and they have the blades ready to go.
Nice off angle.
Exactly, an off angle, all the utility offline. But 5 players, that's still going to be a lot to chew through. They may be able to get 1, possibly 2. There's the 1, there's the 2. And just like that, Warriors Black has to increase the timeline to get to A.
Oh, I like the wall though. It scares you. Like, okay, is the Phoenix here? Do they just send it through B-Link? And everyone pauses on both sides. They've seen this before. Again, they get the immediate run it back, right? That's what happened previously. So they're getting flashbacks. PTSD that guides them outwards. Still have 40 seconds, so a lot of time to contemplate here, but even if they get a free sight and a spike plant on B or C, I'm not convinced, because we've seen Humber Esports, right? They play very similar to Warriors Black, where they lean heavy towards one side of the map, play retake on the other, but their retakes have been good from the get-go.
Oh, they have. And they have a run it back. So many different options to play for this retake. Webb walking right into there, wins the fight against Wordle.
There's 15
That's
seconds.
exactly what they needed, right? 15 seconds. It's be or never. Be or never. You have to go inside the smoke. You have to stop Rage. And they did. The impulse stun to try and concuss them out. Throw in, you've been paranoid, you've been blinded. You might even get flashbang here now for your efforts. Rage comes back in. Right again, it's the real thing. It's the #1. Back on the board, back to fight, back to win for Humber Esports. Now it's only 2 more rounds to go, and Haven is theirs.
I mean, that was basically a 5v2 with the running back. And just sheer numbers again. Warriors Black did the best they could, trying to isolate the fights, the timings, get those flicky 180s, get out of C and A link. And that's where Humber was really smart. Even though they had all 4 players over towards A side, they instead redistributed and had a player go C link so they could have that split attention, that war on multiple fronts, instead of, again, getting, shoehorned into one choke point. That made all the difference when you're funneling a paranoia, the shock, right? The swarm grenade that you mentioned, like all into one space. So it's do or die for Warriors Black. They are forcing up here, ensuring that they don't have to play for the next 5 in a row if they lose this to Humber Esports. But lose this, it's an eco, and you might not even get to 8.
I want to say that Warriors Black is getting caught off guard, right? Because they were aware that someone could have been pushed up, but they're not going to be caught off guard by that. Yikes. Thinking that Wordle was not going to take that fight. Chamber, for goodness sake. You already know that that's exactly what they want to do. Try to overdrive through the smoke. Deals a smidge of that damage that could have been used, but yeah, the impulse is going to undo anything that was done there. Spike planted. Rage occupying the space inside of Garage. A commitment of the Hunter's Fury from Humber Esports to delay out the plant of the Spike. Not going to take care of anyone, but going to give them a moment to regroup.
Romeo could have timing. The Sova's aware, but the retake force is already rolling in through CT.
Yeah, that's a brilliant flash too. Vermeil has to rush back onto site, but it's Vermeil. You look back over towards window. Gives Wordle a chance to switch from the Headhunter back to the Tour de Force. And Humber Esports, one more round.
Match point.
Ooh. One more round to tie the grand finals. Best of 5, 1-2-1 here in Division 3 NECC. We need 5 for Warriors Black, and whew, again, it just feels like everyone right now, a trio of Trin, Rage, and Wordle, are doing really, really well. And Warriors Black, again, to me, they're playing a very strong team game and calling wise, but then when it comes to their standout players like Marble taking these head-on-head fights, it's either interesting decisions to fight there, or they're just losing out in pretty fair exchanges. So we'll see what happens. And Broken By, we mentioned, when they run the risk of trying to keep Humber off of map point.
It's almost a hold your breath. Yeah, they're poking and prodding at the map, seeing where the stress points are going to be. And it's like you said, the reclear from World, the timing. It's these little moments that you're like so close, but Wordle, there's no trip for flank either. Right, so Wordle can keep scaling up off the attack with very little resistance. Eventually, someone's gonna see something there, and you're gonna have the lockdown inside of sewers. Finally, Vermeil realizes that, yeah, we gotta put something there. But it's not gonna be good enough because of where the turret was placed. You couldn't stop Wordle. This force of nature, this being, is here. And now Arcom is on site by themselves. The Rage to put them back where they belong. Humber Esports winning out on Haven, 13-7.
Wow. I mean, we said at Punker's Paradise, but I don't think we were expecting it to be to that degree. Again, a literal flip of the script for each team's map pick. And honestly, I was worried when you see, again, 2 wins, 3 losses for a team on any map. You're like, okay, anything could happen. A team might not look as confident on this map. But I think they definitely, with the work, with the switch up from the Rand to the Jets, like, Homer looked really, really nice there. And again, Wordle MVP back-to-back. Marvel ends up, I think, riding their ship in their own way as well once the side swap, pioneering those first kills. But again, it was Humber. They got enough done early on in the first half before they started having issues, before, UWB got their feet below them and figured things out at that timeout. And then on the flip side, they just really didn't have too many issues on their defense. Again, the reclears were really nice. They knew how to retake really effectively with this composition. That was so oppressive as well. We can definitely say they fulfilled the uncommon trait as well of channeling the Rage in that Phoenix pick too.
They did. The Rage finally came through, and it translated perfectly into that victory here on Haven. And it brings us into that 1-1 now, Zobi, in this grand final series. But we are going to go to a short break to get things set up for our next map. Before we go, we do want to say that the Force Trials is presented by the Army National Guard. Find your calling at nationalguard.com. And when we come back, it's going to be more Valorant as we head into map number 3 for these grand finals.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.
feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good.
You'll still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the grand finals here for Necc Valorant. It's been a crazy series so far, 1-1, but now we go into map number 3 of Lotus. And Zobi, right, both of our teams, Humber and Waterloo, have been going neck and neck. They've been button heads with each other.
Oh, absolutely. Winning out their own map picks. And I think it was more surprising how strong we saw Humber come out swinging. We had this idea of, okay, map 1 was a warm-up map. Okay, this is their pick. But then there was, again, the mixed record for both of these teams where they really hadn't sorted out what their Haven successes looked like. And there was also the idea of, okay, players not really being online. And Rage was, to me, the MVP of that map. But all in all, I think we need to shift gears at, okay, we talked about Humber and how they bounced back. But now how can Waterloo bounce back, Sam?
Well, speaking of Humber and Waterloo, let's get a look at those uncommon traits. Bouncing back, like you said. And here's what we've noticed about these teams. And here's what we've noticed specifically about Warriors Black. Safe and stable, calculated, element of surprise, right? And Zobi, when we talk about safe and stable, I think we can look at Haven specifically about how they play, about how they exemplify that uncommon trait.
I think for safe and stable, this is a double-edged sword for them. Again, to me, when you look at like how they play Valorant and how they're calling around the map, they are definitely the one that can take timeouts when they need to. They have the right fix for what's going wrong in the server. It's just when they were then applying it, that's where things started to break down. It's like, okay, a miscalculation, but using the right formula, kind of. And that's where we move into calculated as well, is that they knew what they were doing, they could plan accordingly. And then for the element of surprise, that actually goes back to the map pool and the map we're going into, right? Like, it's a best of 5. If you banned out maps that were already in the pool, you're going to have to lean into Lotus and Fracture, but picking it so early over, say, a split that will come up later shows that they might have something prepared that Humber isn't prepared for.
And that's what is also interesting, right? Lotus is now back in the map pool, and it's the first time that we're seeing it here in Necc since its return a couple of weeks ago. Teams haven't had a lot of time to really figure things out, to workshop and to tool around with it, but we are getting it, like you said, so very early on. It's that element of surprise. It's that moment where, okay, what have you been doing? What have you been workshopping on Lotus? Still, though, I would say one of the fairly popular collegiate maps, especially, and one of the fairly popular maps in
100%.
Valorant in general. So I would imagine that for teams, right, you've had it in the back of your mind of what you want to do. And honestly, if I wouldn't be surprised from Humber if we see the return of Mix again. It's been one of my
Chamber
mainstays. Too. Yeah, Chamber as well. It's been one of my mainstays going on to Lotus a lot. And I think a lot of his utility that translates really well onto Haven translates just as well, if not better sometimes, on Lotus.
No, 100% agree. Yeah, some of these ratty corners you can clear in mains. I think it sets up really well as well for like the A main fight. It's very, very typical of Lotus defense. But get ready to jump in. This is also going to be different because we have the sides swapping. And to me, I kind of framed it as, to me, Humber's defense looks so much stronger than their attack, because their attack, what's initially working no longer works. They don't come up with a fix very effectively. Again, we saw it, it feels like on Breeze. Yeah, they started getting out of the 8-4, but then again, the comeback, like the denied, etc. And it's very similar as well onto Haven. It was more the side swap that saved them from it not being closer than a 7-5. And all in all, then if they're starting on the defense, to me, that does frame some worries for, I think, then Waterloo Warriors after we hyped up the element of surprise for this map. So I am curious to see in that regard. I'm also curious to see if they shift away, because we've seen the very similar formula. Again, double duelist, again with the Neon Jet, again a stable sentinel or anchor, I should say, like with the Viper. Here you might need to lean into like a chamber or something a little bit more aggressive, especially since Cypher's been kind of obliterated nerf wise. I've seen some Vices as well, still very primed here on Lotus, and I'm curious as well how that'll fare in our players' hands.
Yeah, and I think, right, too, you also have to have that Neon in the back of your mind. Neon, who's been so prevalent in the pick rate across
it's like 78%
all of Valorant. Yeah,
or something.
it's a ridiculously high number for this agent. And again, another map where she works really well on. Lotus is just a playground for her to have that level of creativity, that level of maximization. But now we get to take a look and see what's happening for our agent select. Warriors Black, and not skewing away from anything unusual. We talked about the Vice. They got the Vice. Talked about the Neon. They got the Neon. There's always Humber Esports to be that
Spice things
difference
up.
maker. Yeah, spice things.
No mix,
up.
Sam. They brought the clove back. That kind of makes me
I
sad.
know. It makes me sad too.
And the role shift, right, from the initiator, or maybe they're just a Sova player, they don't like the fade, right? So it is tuned on that clove. That's also, like, interesting to me. And again, I think that comes out of, I think, some of the role swaps, like, because Rage comes in as a duelist player, their older one was, like, a smokes player, so then it just kind of, like, forces everything into chaos. So it's Ethic, actually, on that fade. But, ooh, Wordle doing Wordle things, outside C.
Yeah, it just can't be stopped sometimes, it feels like. Until then, where they actually do get stopped, Archolm is going to skate right into the face of Rage. What was I talking about? Neon, this is their playground. This is their moment where they get to have the fun, and they even saw Ethic on the rotate back over to B. It's a 1v4 in the pistol round, and it's a pistol round, for goodness sake, Zobi. All three players are literally posted up here, and then you have Vermeil going up on the flank.
I like it. If Vermeil's going to be this primed on Lotus, it's going to be the exact counter that we need for this disrespectful defense that Humber Esports played on Haven, right? They got kind of pinpointed and dealt with a few times by the Phoenix, by Rage scaling out like they just did in Pillar, and I think it could be calling for what's to come. This pistol pretty much wrapped up with the bow. Ethic.
Yep.
There it is. Seal of approval from the relay bolt.
And Archolm had been holding onto that relay bolt for so long. Didn't use it on the entry, didn't use it for anything. Used it to take out the last player. I want to talk about calculated too, right? Because we saw Vermeil go in through B and committed the Arc Rose flash that should have been heard by Ethic. And that forces them to push up, right? Because they don't want to get timinged out by Vermeil. It's just a little bit of extra added pressure that Warriors Black throws in the face of Humber Esports. And it's one of those little like micro plays that you just don't think is important, but it is.
Well, Wordle. Headhunter's going to be a mainstay no matter how you spin it, and that's where the fade is. Nicely timed. Same with that little shrouded step play. So all this is nice, but do they expect Rage in here too?
For their last time down!
None of those hit.
Archolm knows how to play Neon. It feels like it took them a little bit of time, but we were talking about that element of surprise. They are surprising, I think, everyone right now. Warriors Black. It's just an unstoppable force. When they want this C site, it is theirs.
It's like, you didn't even move though. You're just going like a mini circle in the same place, right? It's like the same endpoint, like on the ground. And it was somehow dodging every bullet. Like, it's like horizontal Matrix style instead of vertically. And it was definitely
Neon,
entertaining
man.
to watch. Yeah. Neon, I guess. But I think that scares me because even though it's, again, worse weaponry for Humber Esports, if they're going to struggle with retakes, it's not going to be pretty look for them because that was their win con on Haven, right? They purposely would give up sides of the map, and it's another 3-site map, and then play retake there. And they even had them players there really fast. They flooded in really fast, and so we're just gonna hope and write it up to worst weapons and see what happens later on. But everything's the same, it feels like, for Humber, and same start for Warriors too.
Yeah, just default out, use the fast lane, use a couple of the prowlers. And it looked like you wanted your endpoint to be B.
Ooh.
Look at all of this coming in
This
your direction.
refight.
Yeah, look at this. You go back over to the other side, but I don't even think they realize how many players are still in mid. It doesn't matter though when you have the spike. You fight into this. Stuck in the corner. Yeah, Rage is gonna make sure that none of their bullets gonna miss around. Vermeil flash trapped. Flawless for Warriors. Humber Esports rather.
And that's where we kind of talked about this during the break, Sam. Where we're like, if we feel like Warriors Black is playing the more traditional game, like the cleaner game of Valorant, despite it being 1-1, I mean, that's where it's, again, we go back to Humber Esports and how they just won that round. Under no means do you expect a team that has better weapons against an anti-go bonus, right? For Warriors Black to go for that aggressive, that gambly of a fight into B main. But they're just that confident and that disrespectful that it works. It completely catches Warrior Black off guard. And that's where Warriors Black have to realize, like, that's going to keep happening, right? And they need to be ready for plays like that. And I think you mentioned it too. They were just surprised on Haven, and they just got surprised again.
They did. I love when a surprise goes both ways, right, Zobi? Relay.
Yeah.
Oh, Trin needs to dash over to the other side. Wordle's deposited themselves at the box, but Warriors Black says no. Now, we don't want to go C. Let's regroup back in A lobby, push out towards Rubble, start taking the fight here. Rage has the breakable open towards B. They're going to be supported by their Fade. Grenade trying to delay things out as they go in towards Tree. That flashbang perfect. Vermeil caught completely off guard. Gets to run it back online. 51 HP, but it doesn't matter. As they make their play, it's going to have to fight for it. Wow. Okay, that got a little scary, but got the info they needed.
Oh, but this is still numbers on side for Humber in this retake.
Numbers, Archolm gets theirs, back over on the other side. Rage, still alive. Wall's gonna come down, but guess who wasn't taken out on the inside of it? Archolm! Gonna start beginning to defuse. Archolm isn't there to stop anything. Trin gets to go away with it for free, and World holds the spray down. Even though they didn't get the kill, Humber Esports gets the win.
That's where I'm questioning, okay, where was the paranoia? Where was the delay util there so that they didn't have to dry swing that while Archolm is trying to regroup? But all in all, then that's going to go back to, okay, the issue on Haven, a balance of util, right, in terms of the early round versus the late round. I really liked how they were leveraging, I think, that revolving door, right? It kind of nullified a lot of the impact of the run it back, and I thought they were going to get back in time to also stem that flood back onto the A space, but that's when those players got cut off, a little delayed, and that's when it was, okay, we've given up all of the site space, and it's not the same Lotus that it was, where you can just play off-site post-plant spam. So we'll see if they can remedy the A site post-plant, but for now they just want to neglect A site altogether, and that's smart when you have a Nightfall and an Overdrive. B feels like an easy pickings.
Look over at this, though, right? They're gonna have to fight back into all of this space that B almost feels like it needs to be an endpoint. Overdrive for Archolm and Wordle picking up where Trin left off. A 4K for this chamber and a successful round as Humber Esports takes the lead.
Again, a nice vision, but then they lose sight of it, right? It gets lost in the sauce. Like that's crazy. Like you literally mentioned, you're like, they need to re-clear something, because then there's a potential, okay, for Revolving Door to be hit by Humber to refight this B main space. So what do? They rip the Overdrive. They try to pinch them, but they just got stalled out, it felt like, on the C long side, and then the bait and the switch again, they got surprised by Whirl, right, because of how forward Trin was. So I like the idea to avoid the C site. They got A pretty easily. It's gonna be a matter of, can they keep getting A that easily when there's a Molly combo like this, and can they fix the post plant?
Well, at the very least, Turtle TP's over to the other side. They know where this Omen's gonna be. Good paranoia though, locks him down. Rage. They know how these Neons play. They know the tricks of the trade. We may have gotten this Phoenix finally put away in a shoebox, but the damage has already been done, and Warriors Black still needs to even just get to the site.
Double ult though could help tip the scales. Only a little bit of HP left on Toon's song as well, so we'll see. It was again this full commit rotate, right? You have the trademark front B. You're confident maybe in playing retake C. And that's how Humber play most of these maps defensively.
Face your fear!
Right here it is, like
Stacks
you said,
here,
right?
Sam.
Got the double ult combo. Doesn't know how well that's going to be working for them. Should have heard Breakable open at this stage of the game. You're just trying to play for the picks. Vermeil, the on the rope shooting error not going in their favor. And Toon may have just been 5 HP. That's all you need to land a headshot. Humber Esports extending that lead, forcing a timeout. Warriors Black.
Yep, here we go. This is the Warriors Black we know, is that following this, they definitely steadied themselves on Haven, and we'll see if they are able to do so again. And that's where now it's like, okay, we were saying like they should know, okay, how Humber's maybe playing their defense. I think they need to lean into more of these Vermeil lurks, for example, right? Because then they're going to find out real fast that they are in fact abandoning so much space so that they have these numbers here readily, right? They should know like, oh, we just saw the chamber really fast there on that A take, even though it was a 2v4. So I again hope they come to the right conclusion, and I will say the pings are looking nice. I do think they realize how forward the defensive line is on C, so they can win that fight early on. The rest is easy. There isn't really a retake game there for Humber, so that's another strategy that we might get to see. Again, lots of options that could remedy the situation for Warriors Black. It's just which route they choose, and if they can actually achieve it, right? That's been the main kicker for Humber Esports, is they're just kind of out-aiming them, right? You mentioned how Rage is just able to track and shut down this Neon that was primed in the first few rounds that they got on the board. Yeah, and Wordle, I mean, getting a 4K after baiting Trin outside of Mound, like it's crazy what they're achieving individually.
It really is, and it's those moments too where I think, right, Humber is so clean at taking these fights. Where we've talked about traditional Valorant is Warriors Black wheelhouse. Well, fighting is Humber Esports.
They're gonna pinch. Look at the revolving door play.
Absolutely. Open the door, put a smoke on Mound, and just start going crazy with the shot. Oh my god. And how, in what world are we living in where they're able to get away with that? They still need to even just get the spike, but it leads right into the waiting arms of Wordle. We did talk about that space that Vermeil needs to gain on the lurk, but
Not this late.
yeah. Not with your entire team gone too.
It's difficult. Because it's like, okay, Warriors Black are like, okay, we have a fix. If we win the C-Mount fight, we're good to go. But that's where, again, this forward defense from Humber Esports sets up a contingency that refights their B main. And that's where Vermeil needed to be B main or something of that caliber to kind of give them a clue as to what was going to happen. And you know what would be the absolute ore move here, Sam? Would be to walk up to that revolving door, hit the ult, and then open it with the Vandal you just collected.
It would be, but you know that someone's going to be playing it smart on Humber Esports.
I mean, they're all pretty close. I think the Fade maybe now could get out with Ethic, but it would have been really close.
I wouldn't put it past Wordle, though, to just land the killing blow with
Headhunter?
a Headhunter. That's always the scary part. Wordle being the bait here for Toon to take the wide swing. Vermeil eliminated. Humber Esports looking good.
I want to see what the buy looks like here for Warriors Black, all right? Another kind of round where you might have a player that can get a hero rifle the next, but this, to me, is a similar round to where we were sitting over on Haven, right? That was the difference between, okay, Humber Esports, much like Warriors at map 1, are able to have a very dominant lead, or if Warrior Black win this ult-heavy buy round, I think they might be able to make this the closest half we've had so far. But even then, like, it needs to be clean. Because if not, they're not going to be able to afford guns next round no matter what. So that's not how we wanted it to start. That's their smokescon. Sam?
Yeah, I think the cracks are starting to form. Warriors Black.
They've had enough.
Yeah, they've had enough. Just go ahead. Pop the ultimates. Pop something here. We got to get the numbers back on our side. But again, it's like you said, right? You don't have the smoke. Stuck on site. Ethic out in the open. Clean, easy pickums for Vermeil. Now on the 3K. Toon, seeing an opportunity, brings themselves back to life. Throws in a quick decay. Keeps themselves alive for the moment, but Arkham has to play in tree in a 1v2. Looking to isolate some of those fights with a 1v1, but instead leans it in the hands, right back into the crosshairs of Wordle, who has been literal force of nature on Humber Esports.
Yeah, the pacing there was nice. The ults there were nice to win that A main space. They had numbers going into the site, but it's that exact kryptonite that we mentioned of them losing their smoke so early that allowed those two players in heaven for Humber Esports to get some nasty shots, right? Like literally just playing whack-a-mole there on those heads from Rogue that flipped the script. And honestly, in my eyes, if Toon does not have as well the Clove ultimate online, they don't win that round, right? I think they would not have bought enough time for the flank to come through for Wordle for that regroup to occur that we saw with Trin that caps off the round. So again, we mentioned how much of a eco breaker that is, a mental breaker that is, because now there's 4 ults for Humber and you're on a Thrifty.
I'm starting to feel the uneasiness emanating from Warriors Black too, Zobi.
Yeah.
Where they were oozing confidence in those first 2 rounds. I'm not feeling that same level here. And with every single pick, every single save round that they need to have, every single buy that they lose out on, it's just unraveling further and further. But still wanting to take these fights right. Paranoia out. Wordle, who's still here, by the way, hasn't TP'd off. Seeing another opportunity, maybe to be able to take that one. It gets back into Waterfall. None the worse for Wear Off.
Ooh.
Those little misplays are just going to work against you every time.
That's what Wordle do Wordle things.
Vermeil, half HP, taking their fights. No one able to get rid of the other just yet, but with the revolving door open, now you got another issue to deal with. Maybe try to get the spike planted, but you're looking for whatever you can grab here. No one knows where you are. Yeah, nah. They're smart. They know what's going on.
You know Phoenix's waterfall, and they've missed the timing. Or did they think they went like C spawn towards A? That's a crazy read.
I know, I was thinking that too. Because we should have seen something there, right? Guess not.
Rip and tear.
They're just gonna get wall banged through the wall. Look.
Oh! Dodge the curveball, slow them down with the thorns. So close to getting a bullet in the back, but all the top of their head. It was so close for Vermeil, thinking they were coming up through main, but actually on the site itself, so close to the clutch. But instead, it's Humber Esports all the way.
Sam, it's like watching one of those montages of like near miss car crashes, like from the double, like okay, through the one way, through the wall, like these bullets not hitting Vermeil, to then the knife that Rage tries to attempt from the high ground, also not missing. It's like that is the most, I think, respectful way that Toon could have shut down that Vermeil clutch to get the 7. And that shows that confidence differential that you just mentioned. And that's what's really hopeless about the situation for Warriors Black, is they know what's going wrong. They know what theoretically should fix this situation, should fix this attack. But when they're trying it, applying it, it's just not working because of the disrespect, because of the aim that Whirl has, for one. And there we go. Okay, wait a minute. This feels like a good round. I'm worried about the retake ults. That's why Trends left.
Yeah, just play back.
But the double duelist is alive. Can they fight into Hall? That's their win con right now.
No, they're
just gonna fight into Hall.
Nope, they're just gonna leave the site. They're just gonna leave it open. Marvel's eventually gonna start peeking their way over there, but again, you're getting caught inside of the knife ball. Float out, curveball to perfection. And it doesn't even matter for Rage. That was their run it back. That was their win condition. And now they're waltzing on the site for free, Zobi. Humber Esports, a bulldozer. Unstoppable. Nothing in their way. As they claim yet another round.
Wow, and I was gonna go off about how the Vermeil alert felt like it was gonna be late because they weren't buying enough time, but even Toon had that handled. 13 and 4 right now, has just eclipsed Wardle here on the scoreboard narrowly, thanks to that backline job that honestly could have been a difference maker for Warriors Black. But 8-2. I think we've gone from being like spot on in our predictions. So I think I just cursed Warriors Black, where I was like, oh, they win this round, it'll be the closest half we've had. And I think we're on track to have the most dominant half of this best of 5 now so far.
And a reminder too, right? This was Warriors, this was Waterloo's map pick. This was the place that they wanted to go to. The element of surprise, but I think they're the ones getting shocked right now.
Yeah.
Still though, me too. Seen 8-4 first house before. Different map, a little bit more of a seaside flair, but Rage stuck in the corner, 9 HP. Goes down the hot hands, gets their health back up to full. That's unfortunate though, through the smoke. Albo thought they were safe, and a little bit of fancy footwork from Vermeil's not gonna save them here at all. And towards breakable, take the fight.
Wait a minute.
Okay, arc home. If they got to, put it on their back. Whatever they can.
Why are they splitting up? Why are they splitting up?
No way. Play that together. It could have been so easy. It could have been so winnable, and they even landed the edge on a Wordle, but the Phantom diff, the Trin diff. Humber Esports. Oh, more and more this half is theirs.
Oh, you escaped to the corner.
All right, are we doing this? I'm getting rage baited right now, Zobi. This is the kind of stuff in rank that makes me...
They can't get the knife kill, they're gonna get the air horn, all right?
I guess so. Listen, this is the stuff in rank that, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I just love the trust that Humber have in each other, right? Like, Wordle there is so low HP. Trin just goes in on her own and wins that exchange up against Vermeil on the backside. Like, you lose that and it feels unwinnable, especially since they're leveraging the Tour de Force. Like, again, that round was on a knife's edge. And that would have been maybe some hope again if it's an 8-4 for Warriors Black, since, I think both of these teams have decent defenses, but, I mean, we have not seen a comeback from a round deficit yet, whether it was an 8-4 or a 7-5, and I don't think a 9-3 or worse could come true.
I don't think so either. And it feels like Humber is on track for the 10-2. Saw inklings of an Odin, saw inklings of an Outlaw. The leaderboard and the scoreboard, yeah.
It's so funny, because on Breeze it said, oh, the Clove, it can't hold a site on its own. You have to fight forward on your defense. And Toon's showing that, hey, I'm going to hold my site down.
Drop in a smoke.
It's going to be just none the worse for wear for it. Open up the door. Let Wordle see if anyone is at B through a revolving door. Warriors Black not gonna tip their hand just yet to that possibility.
I like this. Yeah,
slowed it down.
they're avoiding early fights, avoiding early losses, collecting the information in the meantime, collecting the space in the meantime without much util. They had a main space. Now they're regrouping, hoping Wordle's retreated, but he hasn't.
Oh. Okay. Back and forth on both sides. Clean headshot from Wordle. Vermeil. Clean trade.
No Nightfall this time for retake, and they've taken the hall space. This is nice.
30 seconds left.
Really strong post-fight positions from Warriors Black. Completely different look.
Watch your eyes.
Alright, raises the one with the Odin. Not quite close enough. Here's the judge. That's always something that makes you scared. They're spraying, they're praying. That is a beautiful. Even before the Vice ultimate happens, they still get maximum value from the Odin. Stuck in the corner. Vermeil surrounded on all sides. It's a Humber Esports flood in, and they're overtaken. This is a 10-2 first half.
I'm having flashbacks to Haven. To the second round of the second half. I think after that, where they like were prime with like a Bucky and CT, right, and then they just like slide and miss, and that's kind of what just happened there again, but with very different buy situations. And instead to end a half and end again Warrior Black's hopes and dreams, it feels like, right? On Haven, it was the difference between a 7-7 here. It was between the difference of a 9-3 curse and the double digits that Humber Esports now find themselves on. And whew, I mean, we talked about Humber Esports and what was their uncommon trait? It was something along the lines of resiliency?
Yeah, resilient.
It was resilient. All right. To me, they are showing that in spades, right? They showed their ability to come back after a loss. Durable. And we've yet to see that from Warriors Black. That same bounce back, that malleability.
It's just not there, right?
Yeah.
And this is a pistol round. If there was ever a pistol round to win, it is now. Otherwise, Obi, I feel like you just go ahead and write this off as a win for Humber Esports. Turtle pushed back by the sheer amount of bullets that were coming in their direction. And they want that C-Link space. They want to get it. The good news here is that there's still some form of comeback for Warriors Black. It's a 2v3, still within the realm of possibility. Vermeil needs to get the reload in. Toon, one away from the ace, the pistol round ace, and the teammate gives it for them. Toon, our first ace in these grand finals.
And wait, well, it was a player on Humber's side, right? No, it was somebody was on for an ace on Haven and then it got denied. I'm pretty sure it was Breeze, and Humber didn't let them get. Rage did not let them get the ace, right? Because they needed the round. Here they are so far in lead. They're so confident. They're like, all right, guys, time to showboat. We're going for knives. We're sounding the alarm. Yeah, like when all else fails, Sam, there's one thing you can rely upon, and that is the Stinger Force. Warriors Black are not going down without a fight. They have the gamble stack correct here. No, why are you leaving?
What in the? What is the read that they just leave? What could have happened? What?
They're going back.
Yeah, they just got they got uneasy. They heard the noise that was on C Mound, and now they've gone back to C because they heard that noise. But it's actually on A.
How do you get it wrong twice, Sam? How do you get it wrong twice?
I don't know. I want to know what read they had that they thought that it could have been on A.
This is the team we said was calculated, played stable, played safe, and now it's like they've departed from their uncommon traits.
It's the mind games. That's all it
Ankle's
is really
broken.
at this point. Yeah, ankle's broken, hit down by the C's. Just gain as much time as you can. And Wordle's a drop. Very little.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that didn't hit them. Okay. Yeah, you're not going to go to drop. You're not going to go to Wordle. Instead, you're just going to go to the Spectre. You're going to go into the Vandal. Meat grinder, almost.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute. Web. Double kill.
Aw,
21
timing.
HP. Yeah, the timing. It's just not going to work out for them. And I don't see a world where Humber Esports is going to lose that. And I definitely don't see a world where Humber Esports is losing Lotus. It's match point.
I mean, I feel like this is like the third half that we've seen. Also, Rage have the run it back online in the third round of a half. Like, that is how effective they are at converting this, and I think that's made all the difference too. I think Toon, wasn't I like, how's Toon gonna do on the Clove over Ethic on Smokes?
Yeah.
Ethic maybe 4-7, but I think Ethic's happy taking the back seat here, just giving the information for their murderers to go out, because like that's crazy. 23-5, like, whew.
I'm sure Wardle's like, yeah, you know what? I get a little bit of a break. Vermeil gets first blood, but they're brought to death's door themselves. And guess what? Rage is just running all over the place. It's still back and forth. Numbers on the side of Humber Esports, but yes, oh, they were so close. They almost got Rage, but they eventually do, right? Stabbing them in the back with a Spectre. Now it's a 2v3.
You know, 2 are playing, no 3.
All right, Trin lands a couple of the bullets, nowhere near enough to get the kill. Comes back around, tries to take another fight down in water. It's a 2v2. To determine the fate of Lotus. Trin goes for the reload, lands the headshot. Fastlane still up. Archolm on the other side of this 1v1. And Toon, who better than Clove to close this map out? 13-2. Zobi, 13 rounds in a row for Humber Esports.
Wow, yeah,
13 rounds in a row.
We went from the most confident like we've seen from Waterloo Warriors Black to then like the least confident I think by the end of that map, and that is what makes me even more nervous for the split that's up next. But I mean, you look at this and it is just absolute decimation. I mean, team 25-5 after a role shift, right? and Trin even there, right, was the player that with the Guardian was kind of the one that kept a firm head there in a round that looked like it was about to slip away, where we might have seen it get prolonged a little bit longer out of the University of Waterloo Warriors. So, I mean, Turtle 1-4. I really just don't want to look at like any of these players through with a fine tooth comb. Like right now on this Waterloo side, it's more just again of like, can you reset after that? Again, it's a best of 5, right? This wasn't the final map like you've played all season. Like there's still a world, right, where you can reverse sweep. We've seen again how these teams can change their tune, and whew, I want a closer matchup for at least our map 4, you know, Sam?
No, I couldn't agree more. But it's moments like these that it's like you're feeling that Humber is really coming to their own. That Breeze was almost that warm-up map where they needed to get going. And you look at the first bloods across the board, you see on the stat screen here that Toon had 3 first bloods, but then Wordle follows it up with 3. And then you have Rage at 4, and then Trin with 1. So that's 11 first bloods on this Humber squad, where you see how they were able to convert those rounds one after another. And yeah, well, it all makes sense in the long run.
And it's crazy because you're like, okay, yes, 11 first bloods, but then it's the fact they started on the defense and had 11 first bloods, right? Like, whew. Yeah. Again, it feels like at this point, like maybe after map 1, you know, halfway through map 2, we can be like, okay, Waterloo not picking up on these tendencies is fine. I don't think we'll be able to defend them if it keeps being an issue in map 4.
Yeah, well, it is series point now for one of our squads, but we are going to go to a short break. But before we do, we want to say a big thank you to some of our sponsors out there who are helping to make this possible. We want to say, gamers, your eyes take a beating out there, but Buy Blue Light has you covered. Premium blue light glasses keep you sharp, focused, and ready for victory without the eye strain. Level up your game and protect your vision. Check out Buy Blue Light today, official eye care partner of the NECC. That is BYEBluelight.com. When we come back, Humber Esports has the opportunity to take the grand finals to become the grand champions of Division 3 NECC Valorant, or if Waterloo Warriors have something in their back pocket to keep them in this series. We'll find that all out and more after this break.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? if it cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me to build up. You build up to break me down. How does it feel? How does it feel to knock me around? I won't make a sound. I won't make a sound until I hit the ground. I won't make a sound.
You'll still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NECC Division 3 Grand Finals. This is it for one of our squads. They are at match point. Humber Esports versus Waterloo Warriors Black. Humber Esports at that championship point, Zobi, and it's all or nothing for them on split.
Yeah, after map 1, I was like questioning all of my research, my preparation, my kind of thoughts and expectations for the series, because to me, I felt like Humber was the favored team coming in, right? They pretty handily dealt with a lot of the teams that were 3 mappers, close affairs for the side of Waterloo Warriors in their group stage. This playoffs form was something else, and I think they're starting to reach that peak playoffs form right here, right now, as this best of 5 concludes. But we've been saying it all night, and I'm still a firm believer of it, right? The calls are correct. The adjustments have been correct for the side of Waterloo Warriors, and that's where then it just takes somebody having a good map to activate, to follow up on those plans, and it is a completely different ballpark of a series, of a grand finals.
A grand finals, yeah. And, I said do or die for Humber Esports. It's definitely even more true for Waterloo Warriors. They need to get this done here. Otherwise, it is going to be that Humber Esports victory. It's going to be them being the grand champions. And so if they want to, they need to win out this map 4 to bring us to that map 5 of Fracture. Personally, I'd really like to see Fracture. My favorite map in Valorant. I love Fracture so very much. It's always been one of my favorites, but Split is where, it's been that map. It's been in the map pool for a very long time now. And I think for any variations that you want to have on this map from any of our players, they should have a very good idea. And especially, I think, for Humber Esports that did choose this map, right? Yeah, obviously best of 5 series, you're running out of options, you're running out of choices, you really just choose what you got. But I feel like this map still lends itself really well to that style of play that they have, where they
100%.
love going. But yeah, they love going forward. They love taking that space. They love having that play style where they're in the face of Waterloo Warriors and catching them off guard when they least expect it.
Like, this is one of the maps where, like, no matter how you spun it, like, double duelist just kind of remained at the forefront, it feels like. Again, you think of the Jet Rays of old, you think of, again, the Neon Wigley, and wherever these teams may end up with their interesting adaptations of said meta. And that's where we go back to my problem, and something you highlighted in the previous map was there was 11 First Bloods after, again, a 10-2 half for the side of Humber Esports. And they're starting on the defense for the rest of this best of 5, and to us that has been their stronger half, like lights out. Again, slow starts on really map 1, and then kind of the comeback that made it a close half from Waterloo on map 2, and then again it's been lights out since then. So all in all, again, we have to see Waterloo. They had to hit the range, maxed out the hard boss during the break, or gotten up, done some push-ups and refreshed their mental, because again, we saw the bounce back from the side of Humber Esports. We've yet to see that kind of fortitude from the opposition.
Yeah, it was once things started falling out of their hands. I mean, we didn't even see, right? We didn't see that Humber Esports adaptation come out of Waterloo. We didn't see that nerves of steel, and especially after what happened on Breeze, where right, you GG go next, obviously for a lot of these teams, but still, sometimes it sits at the back of your mind. No, they completely wiped it out of their minds. They put up a strong showing on Haven. Then they came through, blasted the doors wide open with Lotus, and for Waterloo Warriors Black, I'm hoping, like you said, they have to eschew that out of their mind. They have to rise above what just happened to them on Lotus, their map pick, and try to regather themselves for this split map. And, right, we can say that Lotus hasn't been in the map pool for a very long time. We can say that Split's been here for a while, so you should have your crosshair placement, you should have your strategy set, you should have your ideas at the forefront of your mind. Waterloo Warriors Black needs to be that and then some.
Absolutely. But yep, quick reminder. Again, this is for your NECC Winter Spring Division 3 Grand Finals champion. And we are headed to map 4 of Split. Humber currently up 2-1. And about 2 centis, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, 2 centis. I like this from Humber. You wouldn't expect anything otherwise, right? Wordle has been a chamber extraordinaire so far on the 2 maps that we've seen them play on. Still a very strong agent on Split, and instead you're slotting Ethic in from the initiator role onto Sage.
Yeah, this is a very similar formula for the side of Warriors Black, but for Humber Esports, I don't know. I feel like for Rage, I've liked him being that support, kind of, more than that primary entry duelist, right? And now you're putting them on the Waylay, where, like, yeah, Trin can entry alongside on this Clove, but it's not going to be as timed as well, right? And that's where I do have a little bit of concern that they're not going to have that same kind of aggressive prowess that we kind of were hyping up and calling their win condition for this map, but they've proven us wrong already. Let's let them do it again, Sam.
Let them do it again. But before we go too crazy into the game, I want to say that the Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard, and so the call of the uncommon at nationalguard.com. Now with things going off at breakneck speeds, it's already Warriors Black pushing into heaven. Ethic might be having some issues here, though, right? They were stuck there for a moment, but Vermeil picks up the first blood over towards A site. That's actually going to draw them back over. But there's still 2 players, one in heaven, one actually on site, that Warriors Black are going to have to fight against. Oof.
Nice trade on site. Opens things up for at least the plant. I do think you are right, Sam, and it was probably ideally called out before any damage happened, but Ethic, I think, squared away, getting grouped up to see what they can make of this round. 3v4, not unwinnable for a retake on this A space, and Warriors Black are keeping pretty grouped here, aside from the solo Viper main.
Yeah, hopefully they got some of those issues sorted away, but time starting to slip out of their hands. Wordle, very close, but not close enough. Vermeil picks up the frag there. Ethic, shot in the dark, lands one of those shots onto Vermeil. Relay bolt to slow things down, delay for as long as possible. I'm starting to tick against them. It's a clean shot from Ethic, but even cleaner from Arcolm. A double kill to close things out. Warrior Black. It's the first pistol round yet again.
And I am no longer a believer that the pistol will set the tone for this half, right? After map 1 and map 2 led us to believe that. Map 3 says you can win 13 rounds in a row in a blink of an eye, Sam. So,
yes, you can.
Yeah, I'm not going to really overthink anything. I'm just going to see how this round goes, see how the conversion goes. And I am a little scared when I look at the buy for Humber Esports, not because it's lighter than normal, but or for the reason that you think in terms of them losing the round, but for what it means for their bonus if they win or when they win the round, right? Like, it's going to be then you're going to have Vandals aplenty. They're going to try and win their 3rd round snowball here, and they're going heavy into this mid space.
Yeah, they really are. And it's working out brilliantly for them. 3 in mid. Warriors Back completely decimated on the approach. And really, right, once the carnage is left over, Vermeil just has a bandit. Nothing else. And Humber Esports has picked up all of the free weapons that were left behind.
They're trying to style it.
Yeah, they're trying to be fancy with it.
It's also safe.
Come back around, just ooh, okay. Vermeil's got some moves though. But at the end of the day, it's a 1v5. You get 2, but not what you wanted to happen for your buy.
Yeah, I'm like right and wrong at the same time in terms of saying that. I've thrown all expectations out the window, correctly so, but I was really hoping that that buy would go Warriors' way, because then again, we talked about them and their ability to bounce back, to keep their mental in the right space. Having a third round bonus conversion and again having a very dominant first half lead would do so. And now it's been completely the opposite, right? They're gonna have a slow start. It's gonna be hard to build money. It's gonna be hard to build a score. And Humber Esports are already looking confident. They were probably cracking jokes as they capped off their Thrifty.
Well, hopefully Warriors Black crack some of those themselves. Guiding Light. Gonna see some of that information, by the way. Little change to Sky since we've last been on broadcast. Rechargeable flashes. Great change to the agent.
Toxins going up.
Go back around. I'm just waiting here. We'll let them have some of that space as the crisscross of these Viper walls intersect with each other.
Yes,
Warriors
we had a
Black's
Viper
just-
pick.
Yeah, it's just that
Not a
unenviable
Sage.
position.
I mean, they've gotten pretty decent headway for not having any weapons. I really like that Ram's position off, like you mentioned. The toxic screen. It's more a question, what do they do with it, and can Rage keep it contained? Guiding the Light into heaven says no. But the fancy footwork tried to argue otherwise to no avail. Trin. Ooh, hard position to
Okay.
be in. Ping pong.
Yeah, okay, these rounds are going back and forth where they really should not be. One way.
Look at scale
Look at
on.
Cloud Burst going in. Wordle in tune. Unaffected by what happened with the rest of the squad. Warriors Black push back.
Sam, we just need to be careful with what we say. It's
Yeah,
coming
I
true
guess
like
so.
faster than we can keep track of, right? You're like,
Yeah,
they should not be going this way, and then switch flipped. Humber say, okay, fine, well, we'll keep it clean. We'll deny this Thrifty. But I did really like the confidence in Warriors Black there. There's very set plays. Again, your 3-2-1, flash, swing, go. And even Arcolem, I think, is doing a good job, again, being very synchronized with the support util around them. But again, just unfortunate timings there and some effective crossfire synergy there between Wordle and a Sky that was tucked away all the way on site is crazy. So, Warriors Black trying to channel everything to breaking through this B side. Wordle. You see them challenge really head on while anchoring a site like this since Haven.
And this is the Wordle special, right? You play close and then TP away. You either get a pick, you don't. Regardless of whatever happened, you got your information. You get off site, you replay back into it. Warriors Black is just petrified of what could have happened had they continued onto that approach.
That's where we're back to previous maps where Warriors Black think that these fakes switch things up, and the fact that they didn't even break the trademark for Humber Esports there from the chamber means that they just resume default positions, right?
Yeah, they committed utility to just get Wordle back to where he was. And Wordle gave up nothing.
And
for
TP
it.
is back, yeah. The only thing I could maybe point out that was beneficial for Warriors Black was they lightened the mid hold a touch.
And that guy Knight goes out over the top. Wordle's still here. The trip is still there. The good news is that Vermeil is alive. It's a 1v2. The bad news, they don't have Spike. They're down to 70 HP. And Humber Esports feels like they are just, yeah, you just hang out in the garage.
Seconds. Like, even if, I don't even think they could recover Spike if no one was there in plan time. So yeah, they just call it off. Save the Phantom. Do not want to spiral into a dominant Humber Esports lead. Just soaring away. And that's a difficult round just because it's like you said they were scared of something on the B side, and I'm like, what? Aside from Wordle, okay, we'll say they can be scared of Wordle, that's allowed. And 5-2 right now, has been MVP every map that they've, like, aside from the previous 23-5, and I just wanted them to commit. They forced the TP, that should be their in.
And that's where I'm starting to feel a little worried for Warriors Black on that. They had the weapons. They have a Waylay. They have not a Waylay. They have a Neon. They have a Jet that can just dash in onto site, fast lane onto site, get in on there and take your fights. But they got scared. There's nothing to slow them down. There was just the chamber trip.
Maybe they aren't gonna be scared this time. Blades pop, Neon's in. Oh, or just not. Okay, we're doing it again. Oh, the refight this time gives them a reason to flee, maybe. Rage. Oh.
Bucky just a little too far to the left. work out for them, but they're very determined now that they want to fight this. Instead, it's just giving Wordle. They're feeding this chamber. They're feeding the beast.
I figured it out. Rage is the ace stealer. All right, happened on Breeze, happened here. No clip for the chamber.
And Vermeil's the last one left alive again, right? These lurk plays just are taking too long. Look at where Vermeil has been the entire time. They've still been at A main, where they should have been scaled up to heaven at the very least. But they just aren't. They're just still there.
Yeah. Now they're another early timeout from Warriors Black. Again, now it's like, okay, will they fix it? Will they won't? And again, it goes back to that round. I don't think they had enough resources. I think to break through B, the pivot there from the Waylay, too fast-footed. But again, it's like I think they just don't have enough information, especially in it's split, so you're never really going to have too much information when it's just a Sky. In terms of if they're fakes, they're cutting of noise, force any rotations out of Humber Esports, right? And so we know that it's not forcing these rotations. So it's like, okay, you're better off hitting into the chamber site where it's just the chamber than the alternative being a stack in mid, a stack on A. And that's where I'm hoping those conversations are happening with Warriors Black, is where they're like, okay, guys, if we're struggling with just the basics, we're overcooking. And that's why when we had the uncommon traits discussion, we were like, okay, they're calculated, they're safe, they're stable, but then they can get in their own heads in that regard. Or, again, you're too worried about playing a perfect game that you're, making the right decisions, like the right moves, but they're not effectively countering Humber Esports.
No, they're not. It's... I think for Warriors Black, especially right now, they're just trying to throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. And if there's a slight hint of anything going wrong, it stonewalls them completely. Where they just, it's again that lack of confidence showing up. Where they want to take some of these fights, but they just haven't committed to it yet. Now the Guiding Light does get some information, but they know that Vermeil has been lurking on the site. Oh my god, what is that gap in the wall? Doesn't really matter, right? Vermeil takes on Toon, wins that fight, wins that battle. Rage may have gotten the one, but Marble's back over on the other side. Now all 4 players on site, gonna get the spike planted for the 4v3 and a commitment of the Viper's Pit.
Okay, no Sky, no Dog, no really way to solve this pit just yet. Gonna try and see how far off Trin is maybe from the Clovolt, but all in all, I like these positions. Last time they've messed up by Marble over fighting outside of the pit, if you remember. So I like them all just sticking around.
That's good too, right? TP back inside the... Oh, wow, no. Vermeil being the first one.
Last player standing.
Drop it. A 1v2 Ethic by themselves. Seize Turtle. The one-way in. They have to fight. They got to take on Marble. They've run out of time now, Zobi. So let's go ahead, take your fight, see if you can get the jet, maybe take a weapon off the board. But yeah, no 13 in a row this time for Humber Esports. Warriors Black. Disrupting the win streak.
Disrupting the win streak, but at what cost? It should not have been that close. And it looks like it costs, again, Warriors Black more than it does Humber Esports, right? They did invest their ults. They have money to burn. And on the flip side, it's Light Shields. It's a judge from Turtle. But I agree. It was very, very must-win rounds that it wasn't, again, going to be another dominant half. 4-2, they can come out of there. Timeout on the right side. It's then a question, though. Is it a one-off? Was it a win con?
Oop.
Ooh.
I think in the attempt to break the dog, instead gets headshotted by Marble. Oh, Trin distracted by the running, rampaging Neon. Toon's double kill though in mid may make things interesting. What a relay bolt, by the way, to stun Toon. Doesn't matter though, right? And poor Toon barely has any HP to work with in this 2v3.
Lot more decisive of a round. Really punishing, getting the overfighting the egos of Humber more than anything. The round's not up just yet. Bucky in hand. Flower's not cleared.
No way.
It might not have to be.
Oh my goodness gracious, Obi. Again, it doesn't matter if you have full HP or 1 HP. As long as you got something, you're working.
Okay. The tradability on I want to see Humber's like 2v1 conversion rate. right now, because like again, I feel like their tag teaming is really, really effective right now in these duos. It's been fun to watch. Again, just like no lining up, no nothing, and Warriors Black talked about how much the previous round victory cost them. Well, they doubled down in the previous just to keep that momentum alive. And no amplitude found. Signs of life. Falls flat back into the thrifty attempt. Where I feel like an overdrive and Seekers could get the job done. But Wordle, that's why he's playing forward. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, that got a little scary. Wordle's TP too is very close. I think it may be unexpected by the dog. Rage. Concussed by it. Again though, right? All of this resistance that Warrior Black run into, it's a pivot towards mid this time. But I like
really
this though.
Instead
of getting stalled out there, still pushing somewhere. They're still fighting somewhere. It's just unfortunate that Wordle had already had the rotation so fast. Double kill from Webb. Very impressive with the Sheriff.
Oh, they're out of there.
Running
they
for
want
their
Trin to
life.
stay in the grave.
Wait, look what's happening on B, by
They
the
might
way.
not back that
Look at all
far
the
enough.
space cleared
Shorty
by
out.
Oracle.
There's a chance. Aw.
And they've made that
The
call out
panic
too.
sets
And
in.
they get the weapon.
Timer expires. Numbers narrowly still don't in favor of Humber Esports.
Ooh.
I'm now worried about
This could be
how
big.
splintered these players are.
If Arcon can
it goes
get
back to that
one to
Lotus as well,
equalize it.
remember? Arcon
Whoa,
played
Rage
this
is
solo
walking
endeavor and it
towards
wasn't
them.
worth it this time.
Gets
Given
the
a gun
weapon.
upgrade.
2v2. Commitment of the Seekers.
This
They're
time,
making the
Confirm
right
that
calls and
both
making the
players are
right
stacked in, giving
plays.
safe
They're still
passage to
both
B.
here.
30 seconds
B is
left.
wide
Yeah, that's
open.
the better
That's the
side of the
calling
risks
card.
we've seen taken, I guess, Sam. After all that, though, it's a 2v2 still.
planted.
All right, now we have the spike planted. 2v2. Overdrive available. But our Coleman so low. So
Arcolem.
nerve-wracking.
One enemy
Flashbang over the
remaining.
top, down on the ground. Webb captures theirs. Ping at the spike. Epic.
Player standing.
1v1. Webb from a double kill in mid to a 4K thrifty for Warriors Black.
It's been a long night, but I do remember Webb having that style of clutch gene. They were that dependable player, if you remember back to Breeze, that Sova. And I think we got to see a little bit of that here. Again, showing that they can kickstart this system. Around the world into the 2v2 pans out. Wordle, though, off in hand, still going on this aggro line. Really wants to deny this orb cycling.
Oop. Yeah. Through the wall, too. Absolutely know they're going to be feeling that pain. Snakebite to try and slow things down, but again, right, it's a dog, it's the fast lane, it's massive amounts of utility. It's not even you being out in the
Re-clear.
open. Yeah, for Wordle to just re-clear you so easily with the operator.
And again, it's this aggressive style defense. It's the sheer first bloods that set Humber Esports apart. Tren?
Oh,
Tren?
oh no. And now that forces them to push forward.
Oh.
Train is gonna pop the overheal. Vermeil, though, putting up one heck of a fight in mid. They can get the spike, but timing! They go to Vince! It was so close! Wordle, the shot goes wide. Vermeil! 4 on the board, each ace or nothing.
And he has full HP and full shield after all of those
I
engagements.
can't believe that.
And Snakebite and Orb, like the world is his oyster. He's looking for a pearl. He's looking for the fourth for Warriors Black.
He just
No
doesn't
info.
know. Yeah, just no info. Where could the sky be? Where could they be? That's everything they need. They know they're coming from
Is
heaven.
it?
Look up at window. Look up at window. Oh my goodness, Vermeil. All right, edge of my seat right now. 1v1. Poison orb went up and Vermeil. It was all nothing, and they got everything. An ace to win the round.
And now that is feels like the second round. Humber have lost off of getting a little bit ahead of themselves. And whew, boy oh boy is that one costly. 13-6 for Vermeil right now. crazy showing. And I mean, it was a smart guiding light from Toon, right? It made it seem like they were coming from main, perhaps, and were close flashing that corner instead of from heaven. Hence, maybe Vermeil looking like they were sleeping and then jolted awake, but... Okay. What is this?
Right.
What is this?
I think Rage went a little too fast and got blinded by their own guiding light. Couldn't see anything. And got met with all of Warriors Black. And I like this tempo shift, right? They know that Humber Esports is broke, so just full send it in. Go crazy with it.
Well,
One enemy remaining.
Marvel will happily take those eco frags. Try and supercharge that Blaze Storm. Trend, last one standing, looking for some isolated engagements over towards main. Does not work out in her favor, and Turtle is one to clean it up. Tie us up 5-5. It's the first time today where we've seen like a lead culminate and then at least getting back to a tie, Sam. So, already new territory charted here.
I like this though. Warriors Black found their confidence. They found their footing. Couple of hero plays from some of their players. Able to get their heads back on straight. That's exactly what they needed. And now a 5-5 in this championship series point that Humber Esports is on. Hopefully it keeps propelling with the Warriors Black to where they need to go.
Yeah, I got a closer map as requested. Humber Esports making some changes. Chamber towards A. Ooh.
Oof.
Gale's
Too far
into
out.
main. Yeah, gets punished for it. Again, it's like, I don't want Humber to change their whole identity, but if the old plan isn't working, call an audible. And that's what they struggled on Haven attack, and that's where I think they could struggle now.
Side trade down the ground, but a little too far forward.
Down B.
Doesn't matter. Turtle holds their ground. Stands and takes their fights back over. Ethic, a double kill for them. Vermeil continuing the absolute destruction they caused in the previous round. Put it into this round. Commit the Viper's Pit. Doesn't matter if it's a 2v1. They cannot lose the lead.
Yeah, pit courtesy of the ace. Toon, though, is the one player that optimized to clear out this pit. One guiding light online to navigate this 1v2. Oracle, I'm low HP as well.
The important player. This is just walking right in.
Whoa. Nice play.
Vermeil. Wow.
Last
That
round
again,
in the half.
milliseconds, right?
Can't take anything with us after
You know what, though, Zobi? Warriors Black has regained the lead. They're back. And this is the most contentious first half that we've had so far in this grand final series.
Give me the 6-6. You have the Waylay, you have the Tour de Force, you have all of these resources at your disposal. The only nick in the report card are those light shields. Warriors Black, keeping it simple though, pretty heavy 5 strong A. If Vermeil's duel and put them in the fight with you guys. And the complication here is that the standard Sky setup could have veiled the chamber. A little nerve-wracking to take this first line of contact here. Aww.
Okay. Riddle's no stranger to these kind of crazy plays. A Tour de Force is there for them. Gain maximum value. Yeah, Webb just walks into it. And Wordle just can't resist taking another shot. And is rewarded for their efforts. Now for poor Warriors Black, right? You're down 2 players. Down your Initiator, you're down one of your entry duelists.
I was gonna say your lurk. Exchange in mid goes their way,
Oh my
but
god.
Seekers last round. Use it.
Yeah, use it. You also have this convergent pass. Vermeil is 30 HP. And this also, too, gives Wordle a chance to scale up even further and fight the Viper that's in mid. Yep, works out for them.
Give them the ace! It was stolen last time!
All right, Wordle. On track for the ace.
Oh,
The Tour de
5
Force
votes,
ace.
5 players is crazy.
It really
30
is.
seconds left.
One more to go. Walks right into it.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
It's just aces on both sides. An ace to close out the first half. 6-6.
This is the series that we wanted to see from the get-go. Map 4, a 6-6 half, ending it with an ace after what allowed them to get back to 6 rounds on the Warriors Black side was only an ace from their support player, Vermeil. Again, their Sentinel main. It is so impressive to see these two duke it out. I will say, though, to me, Wordle, the lurks on the attack have not been as impactful as what we've seen from Vermeil in the last half. Would you agree?
No, I would.
Look at Haven, right? Like, it was just... So I'm curious to see what exactly is up their sleeve this half.
I am too. Humber Esports is going to be struggling too, right, with the solo Waylay to gain that space. But yeah, Poison Orb going to go up in mid, Clove Smoke down in Vent. Wordle,
Wow.
just close angle, hold it.
It's going to be hard, we said? What is this?
I guess not. They just kind of get beat. Turtle is looking all over the place too. Ay, 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 those shots are going
All
everywhere.
the bullets.
Okay, eventually gets there. And Humber Esports eventually gets the site. Spike is going to be planted for Garage, a
Spike
3v5.
It's like I expected the Clove to scale with the Waylay. It's like, nope, the Chamber, the Sky. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's okay. It is what it is. It's fine. Wordle gets another one of theirs before being traded out by Webb. 2 in through Heaven to go back onto the site, but Humber Esports is just looking so strong. It has such a firm grasp of everywhere in Heaven that fighting into it
Right here.
is like banging your head on the wall. Humber Esports, he gains the lead, gets the second pistol.
Okay. Now we ask for stability, right? I feel like usually Humber's not been the one to drop these oddball ecos. I think there was one that Warriors Black was able to sweep through, but that was later in the half after a timeout, so... We'll see. Warriors Black, heavy mid stack, probably gonna go 5-4-ish down mid, it looks like. So, we'll be looking towards Wordle to be ready. Get out of dodge.
Dodge, get out of something. All 5
Here we
players
go.
in mid. I like where this could be going. No one clears corner. No one clears the corner. They are trying to clear the corner, so that's good attempts there. Relay bolt inside of sewers. Nowhere for Wordle to run. Ethic could try and protect them, but really at this point, just hold the hatches down, whip out the classic, and ace it all for themselves.
It's a moment of appreciation for the ace.
Three
That'll
aces
be
on this map.
an eco one, but I think that was quickly treading in Warrior Black's favor. I mean, Arcolem did great scaling to punish the rendezvous from Wordle. Like, that was finally kind of Warriors, like, having Humber Esports down to a point, right? Like, that's the first time they've run kind of interference on their play. Regroup just not coming fast enough to Ramen, but really it's just the bonus eviscerated more so than anything. Not gonna stop their winning their
Marble.
sales though.
And back up to your Sky and get some quick healing. 3 aces, by the way, in this game, Zoe. Three aces. Yeah. Two of them from Vipers as well. Maybe I need to...
Yep. And then your chamber,
my-
it's just the senti pseudo senti category right now.
Yeah. Kind of deadly. Marble.
Spike down A.
Can't get
Clean
an ace,
shots
Marble,
all
I'm
around.
sorry. There's only 4 left.
Can't get an ace. Instead, just gonna dash right into Trin, where you're already low HP, but you know exactly where they're gonna be hiding. 2 players up in Heaven. Turtle, done with this Clove. And keeping the bonus round away from Humber.
Wow, and as the evening drags on, it'll be a question then, I think more so of, okay, how much energy is left in the tank? I want to say Humber played like a full like best of 3 or like warm up before this as well. I saw it in their trackers. So they have played like so much Valorant this evening. It's actually insane. And whew,
There could be a
from the start,
potential for
pushing towards the
another
map
one,
5,
too.
yeah, I know. Oh my goodness, and I think they're lucky that Warriors Black, they're gonna get out of the way, play the retake, it looks like. Wordle. A player that could complicate that fact, but Rage should be communicating. It's a little more deserted out here.
Oh my god!
Gotta go.
I see a message in chat, bro. Yeah, I will be talking after that one too. But it
I'm
gives
not.
now the green light to take deeper space in the screen, Sam.
Slowing them down.
Yeah, but they're gonna try and take. Yeah, you got to. Saturate from Rage gets a double kill. And whatever neon shenanigans are happening there, Trin puts kneecaps this agent. Had enough of it.
Oh. I don't know what to say, Sam, about the round. Like, we see that massive, like, whiff from Wordle, but it still gives him all the information he was searching for to then embolden Rage and friends to take that deep screen space. So like, inadvertently, it doesn't affect the outcome of the round. Like, that's 11 p.m. Valorant for you. That's the best way to put it.
That is
East Coast
11
teams.
p.m. Valorant. That
Yeah.
also looks like me every time I try to kill a Neon.
A Neon,
just doing
yeah,
anything,
that's
by
me.
the way. Just doing anything. Shift walking, I'm like, oh my god, it's Neon.
What you need is to jump from Rage handling the Neon like Orkalem on Lotus to that clip. Two sides of the same teammate coin.
Here it is, though. The two annoying duelists having both of their time to shine on the kill screen. Oh my word. Yeah, you can definitely tell it's 11 p.m. right now because things are getting crazy in the game.
The tracking
getting crazy.
falters, yeah.
Yeah, on the desk.
Spike
All right, Spike is eventually going to be planted. Toon, an opportunity to fight against Turtle. Oh, swings out from Garage, close peek, and gets a Viper's Pit online. Toon pushing forward into CT. Arcombe has the bug key, so a possibility, but you're inside of the pit. Yeah, that's play long right there. They know exactly
5 bullets.
where Arcombe is. 5 bullets, blinded out. Guess who's walking
no
towards
bullets.
you? Ethic's there. You're reloading. What are you gonna do?
Save it. Play the exit. Oh. Lucky to escape with their life after that one.
Go, go, go.
And there we go. Double digits for Humber Esports on map series championship. Right here. And okay. What does the buy look like for Warriors Black? Last time they were kind of towards this end point, I was gonna say they didn't take the timeout. And they actually forced when it got to the like OT or not kind of point. So I think that's the discussion here is okay. What path do we want to follow? Do we want to grind it out at 5 towards OT? Do you want to invest now? I mean, there's gonna be that Tour de Force to counter. There's gonna be a Clove Res. I think you half buy here if you're Warriors Black. You know, give your Neon a shotgun, or they have the hero rifle, right? I would maybe hand that off to someone like obviously Vermeil, who's having to, and you.
I think that's a good read and a good play. Vermeil's been doing really well. Yeah. Ujet has Blade Storms. Give a Neon a shotgun. I think
Now,
it's a
what do we
sound
do with
strategy.
them?
I think it's... And then, you know, the other two players play that support role to be able to buy into next. And I think Warriors Black has been having a lot of the right reads and they've been making a lot of the right plays on their defense half. It's just that Humber Esports has been doing a phenomenal job in the fights that they take and also in the space that they're able to gain as well.
I like this. I was gonna say they've been conditioning that A side is pretty deserted, so the stack
I
here
want to play.
completely
Let's
unexpected
play.
in my eyes for Humber. They shouldn't have the thorough util, but see, no one's even looking around.
They're blinded by the guiding light, but just in the nick of time, this is working out beautifully for Marble. Arcombe goes in, double dash on the other side. Vermeil doesn't have the Vandal, but the Stinger still does enough damage. He'll back up to full. Humber Esports could maybe even try to commit the Seekers just as a safety net.
I like this, right? They were forced to accelerate just because of the timer of the Clove Res, but then they slow it down immediately after.
Spike
They retake
planted.
control of the momentum. They get the spike down with numbers. Honestly, you lose one more player here, Seekers out immediately. This, to me, is a must win because Warriors Black, again, this was a half buy. The Blades gave them a lifeline.
It's just unfortunate that Vermeil is so low on health that whatever entry point Warriors Black is going to have, yeah, they're going to have to be the one to play for that. Find it out. Vermeil is still alive, though. Right, they survived
They
the
have
initial
paranoia.
fight. Just nothing they could do there. They walked into the snake by Turtle. First hurdle, jumped. 2 more to get across.
behind on timer.
Working against them in every single way. Trin, done with this round. Done with this game. Done with the series. It's 11-7. 2 more to go.
And I mean, you're just coming into that late round and you're like, wow, Ethic still has Orb. Toon still has 2 flashes, right? Like it literally was just Rage that made all of that RAM space off of Trin's res and just the sheer scare tactic of not wanting them to get a second lease on life, right? And that's where we go back to, again, the balance that Warriors Black has struggled to strike in the util department. I think they finally fine-tuned it, but now it's a matter of, okay, is it a little too late, right?
It's a rough buy, too, for Warriors Black. This is not good times. Oof, really not good times if you're Turtle. You avoid the saturate, but you don't avoid getting blinded. And the worst part is you go into the shadows. Unbelievably lucky to be alive here. How?
Found one.
Warriors have the numbers. But Humber have the sight. Ooh, flank being held as well by Trin. I don't know, Sam.
I don't know either. Marble does at the very least have the hero rifle. And they put on the cape. They are that hero. Humber Esports. Down to a 2v2. All right, Toon alone.
Take this alone.
By themselves. One player isolating the gunfights. Arcombe still alive. Barely any HP to work with. Toon holds it down. Hold everything in the hands of Humber Esports. A clutch for them. One more round.
And after that timeout, after everything Warriors Black have piled in, they still need to make the marathon sprint towards overtime. 5 rounds needed to keep their hopes alive to try and push us towards that map 5 of Fracture. And I don't know, just the way in which you lose that round, right? I was getting flashbacks to Arklem taking solo engagements, and he actually waits, right? They take that side by side and just a little bit mistimed. Again, a little bit too fast of the repositions, the pivots, the tucks, and gets pieced apart, and now you have the convergent paths just to expedite, to run it down like you do best. But the rotates are there. The players are there for Warriors Black, Sam.
They're here. Everyone's here.
Full retake.
You just get the spike planted, you pay for the full retake, and they're even planning to get out in open for Heaven. Ray showing off with a shorty. 4v4. Bullets exchanging everywhere. They're poking and prodding. Ethic grabs one. Look over to the other side at screens. Fast lane comes in. Vermeil walking on. Arcombe trying to pull it back, but Toon and Trin. Vermeil alone. They've aced it out, but not this time. Not tonight. Humber Esports are your NECC Division 3 East Grand Champions.
Wow, I mean, the final map definitely delivering to cap off this Division 3 Grand Finals. I don't think we could have asked for a more competitive half. And then, honestly, again, I feel like our question marks about Rage in the solo entry got answered pretty handily. I feel like the Chamber kept up. I feel like the Clove kept up. And, I mean, even when those players faltered, then it was clutches and the post plants from players like Ethic, right? And we had, like you mentioned, 3 aces that map to close things down. Still no 30 bomb, but I think you are definitely going to take these final map performances from your entire team.
And, you know, honestly, Zobi, I think for both of our squads, they should feel very proud about what they accomplished here tonight and what they accomplished in getting to this playoffs, right? Both of these squads throughout the regular season, it was a 4-3 regular season. They have done such a monumental effort. They worked hard. They brought themselves to this point to be in the grand finals against some really tough and stiff competition in Division 3 in their regions. And for both of them, it paid off. The hard work, the effort, the grinding, the sweat, the tears. But for Humber Esports, it's the title that is now theirs.
I mean, absolutely. Again, I don't think these two teams or even the grand finals anybody expected, right? You mentioned it, 4-3, right, out of the group stage, and that is with 2 FF wins, right? So again, like, just the upsets and the trials that these teams went to, the number of map 3s that Warriors faced as well across this season, they put in the grid after ascending, by the way, after their fall performance in making the previous division's playoffs. Like, again, there's no question that these teams have grown and that arc has come to fruition. At Humber, again, I need to know like what the switch up was in their mental and their training, or what to change as much as they did from the middle stage groups to the playoffs form that we saw that made them champions.
Yeah, but for both of these teams, Humber Esports and Waterloo Warriors Black, they gave us a phenomenal grand finals performance, and I know that at the very least they can walk away satisfied. Congratulations though to Humber Esports, our grand champions. Now, before we go, a couple of things to say. Make sure that you go ahead and follow the channel. Yes, Zobi, very important. Follow this channel because we still have more exciting action happening on this NECC channel, including Marvel Rivals tomorrow, Rocket League, Counter-Strike, and Rainbow Six on Wednesday. 3-game special for Wednesday. League of Legends on Thursday, League, Overwatch, and the Aurora series on Friday. So this is stacked. This is a packed week. There is so much action happening here on NECC. And of course, we want to say a big thank you to the Army National Guard, big thank you to Buy Blue Light and Winzel's Farms, and thank you to our producer and observer behind the scenes, Rare Adam and Reach That, for their amazing work making this broadcast look and sound as good as it did. And a big thank you to all of you for watching. We will see all of you in the next broadcast.
Forge Trials is presented by the Army National Guard.